I'm here and I'm going to be here for a long time.
This is not going to be a fun experience for Tito Ortiz.
Punishment.
I want his best game.
Guy Metzer better come in shape.
I'm coming after him.
This fight ain't going to decision no matter what.
If he stands up with me, I'll knock him out like Chuck did.
I'm going to stop him for once and for all.
The Ultimate Fighting Championship presents UFC 50, The War of 04. Friday, October 22nd from Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. Sponsored by Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts.
Ultimate Beatdowns Volume 1, the official soundtrack of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Experience the fury of the world's most dangerous bands as they set the stage for the world's most dangerous fighters. Hatebreed, Fear Factory, Sepultura, Stem, American Head Charge, and more. Ultimate Beatdowns Volume 1, as f***ing real as it gets.
Basically, the championship was won on a technicality.
If the punch was 2 inches closer, I think I would get the knockout.
Nobody's knocked me out. Vitor's not going to knock me out.
I don't need to prove no one. I'm good. I am who I am. People know Vitor Belfort, like Vitor Belfort, because they know I take care of business.
I'm prepared to take my championship back, and it's certainly not going to happen in 20 seconds.
Well, you couldn't have picked a better guy, for me to fight, because I don't like him.
It's going to be fireworks. Because me and Chuck were supposed to fight before. His people pulled him.
He was even saying I was dodging him for a while.
It's about time. I can't wait to get in the ring with him.
He's been popping off about me for a long time. He's cocky.
He's gonna be bloody, and it won't be mine.
This fight's gonna end with me knocking him out.
Saturday night in Las Vegas, the lights of the world-famous MGM Grand, the magic of mixed martial arts. Tonight, the UFC plays the Grand Garden Arena, and inside this world-famous venue, the Ultimate Fighting Championship is prominently displayed. Welcome inside the sold-out MGM Grand Garden Arena here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Wow, the crowd is already on its feet in anticipation of another historic night of action inside the world-famous Octagon. Time for the lightweights. We feature the top 2 in the UFC. They claim the top 2 in the world. Yves Edwards against the punk, Thomson. Yves Edwards is one of the most feared strikers in the lightweight division. While dangerous with punches and kicks, Yves has rearranged more than one opponent's teeth with his knees. Having won his last 5 UFC fights in a row, Yves Edwards is on a mission to prove that he is the best lightweight in the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
I go over every fight in my head over and over and over. And the only way I can see somebody beating me is taking me down, wrapping their arms around my waist and burying their head in my belly button. There's no other way to beat me other than to ride the time and beg the judges for help.
Josh the Punk Thomson trains with UFC veteran Crazy Bob Cook and is an extremely well-rounded fighter. He has an aggressive style and loves to fight at a fast pace. He's had impressive UFC showings, knocking out submission specialist Gerald Strebent and defeating jiu-jitsu expert Hermes Franca by majority decision.
I'm going to control the pace of this fight. I'm going to go out there. If it stays on the feet, it's because I kept it there. And if I want it to go to the ground, it's going to go to the ground. Okay? No matter what I want, it's going to happen because I put it there. Can't expect him to control the fight because we'll have a sleep fest. Okay? I'm here to win, and I'm here to show everyone that I'm the best 155-pounder in the world. And that's what I'm going to do.
Up next, Josh the Punk Thomson takes on Yves Edwards. Tail of the tape, brought to you by Nature's Purest Nutritional Supplements, high-performance supplements for high-performance individuals. Edwards, 2 years older than Josh Thomson, 5'10", 154, 5'10", 155, but remember, Edwards is known for the reach and the punching power.
Josh Thomson is certainly a character. Man, that's a big 155-pounder.
Look at this.
He looks so much bigger than Yves.
Here we go.
Mutual respect, tap of gloves. Oh, look at this. Starts it off with a turning side kick.
Yves Edwards is the better striker.
Nice.
Thomson in incredible condition. Look at.
Theoretically, he's the better striker, but I mean,
Correct.
Look, so far, all the strikes have been landed by Josh. They've been slapped so far. He's those kicks were all with the instep, but he's the only one who's landed anything. There's another one. You really want to get in closer, and he wants to land with the shin. The shin is the preferred weapon when you throw those leg kicks. Yves checked him with the shin. That was very nice.
Josh tried a combination, goes in, follows it up, and looks for the shoot. And this will be a good takedown. There's a great takedown by Josh Thomson. Set up the shoot with the use of his hands.
That was very nice. Yves holding him in his guard. Josh is going to look to pass here.
Yves has been tested on the ground by Serra and Frank on Uno, none who could submit him, so it's not as if Yves Edwards is not good on the ground, and he's got jiu-jitsu in his background and his training as well.
No, Yves has a very good guard. He's got good triangles. He's got good back control. He's got a good ground game. He prefers to strike. He's a little more technically proficient as a striker, but he's certainly competent in the ground, and he certainly has good defense, and you're seeing it now. He does not want Josh Thomson getting his hands free, so he's doing a really good job of tying up Josh's arms. You see how he won't let Josh's left arm go. He's got that thing wrapped up. That's the key to being on your back if you don't want to absorb punishment, is to control the hands, the arm, the head, anything to keep the guy from rising up and smashing down on you.
Both men talked about how their training was much more difficult for this fight, knowing that the other man was on the other side of the octagon.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to fight either one of these guys. These guys are, you know, at the top of the food chain at 155 pounds.
So far, good control. Thomson, as he said in the feature, taking it
Oh,
to the
look
ground.
at that.
If he wants to
Hip
take it
toss.
to the ground, keeping it standing. If he wants to keep it standing,
Well,
Edwards pops right back to his feet there, Joe.
Twice. You know, I'm very impressed with Yves Edwards. Look at this, these weird little heels to the leg. They're agreeing to do the same thing over and over again. This is kind of strange.
Can't get a lot of force on those, but you might be able to take the fighter's attention off of something else that you're trying to set
You know what,
up.
man? Those hurt. They don't look like anything, and they don't sound that good because the bone goes right into the meat, and it doesn't make it good. So the slapping sound that you hear from a shin is actually not nearly as painful as the low thud that you hear from a leg kick when you in contact with the shin, or even in this case with the heel. But it's much more painful.
So he's actually using the bone in the heel as his striking point.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what they're doing. They're leaning their leg out, and they're slamming the heel back into the thigh. And it doesn't look like much, but it hurts, man. And the more that happens, the more it takes a spring out of your legs, and the more he's going to have a hard time sprawling when Josh wants to take him down.
It seems as if he also has pinpoint accuracy, hitting the same spot on Edwards' leg every time.
Yeah, look at this. Josh Thomson pulls guard. There's a first. Tries to drag him to the ground. Oh, he got tagged there.
Got tagged and smiled throughout the whole process.
But again, he decided to stand back up, and he did it. Josh, I believe he's physically the stronger man. I mean, look how much bigger he looks when these two are locked up here.
Checking his corner, checking on the time remaining in the round, under 90 seconds. This fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. The top 2 lightweights in the UFC, arguably the top 2 lightweights in the world. Both disappointed it wasn't a title fight, but they're understanding that still they become the top of the food chain if they're victorious.
Josh is just holding him up against the fence here. Oh. Okay, now they're on the center.
Now, Yves had been criticized a bit at times being a bit of a counter fighter, but Josh is bringing enough to him that Yves should have plenty of time to engage. Josh has just got good control here in the first round.
Josh is doing an excellent. Oh, look at this. Yves got his back, and Yves took him down. Oh, look how strong Josh is. He just stands right back up. Oh! Oh! Big head kick!
Down goes Thomson!
It's over! It is over! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Out of nowhere! Wow! Josh didn't see it coming. He tried to get out, but Yves had a hold of his back, and in the scramble, Josh caught a kick right in the head. In the middle of the scramble, Yves just reached up and landed a beautiful high kick. Let's take a look at the replay. Josh is still wobbling around the ring. Look at this. He's got his back. Bang! Oh! In the scramble, it looked like Josh was turning around to do a spinning back fist. He just got careless. Let's take a second look at this. He turns his back and Josh, bang! Yves just reaches up with a beautiful head kick.
I will say right now, this kick has replaced Pete Williams on Mark Coleman as the greatest knockout due to a kick in UFC history.
That was pretty amazing. And he did it flying through the air when he landed it. I mean, look at the kick. As it impacts, he's actually like flying through the air, and then he falls down right afterwards.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Steve Mezzagatti has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes 32 seconds of the very first round. For the winner by knockout, Yves Edwards!
Welterweights, youth and experience, a rare combo, but it's possessed by both. Nick Diaz from the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu camp and the judo wizard, Karo Parisyan. 21-year-old Karo the Heat Parisyan trains under highest-on grappling master Gokor Chavichin and brings a very aggressive ground game into the octagon. In his UFC debut against Dave Strasser, Karo put on a clinic of spectacular throws and submissions. Don't blink when this unorthodox young welterweight is in the octagon.
All I know, I'm going to be aggressive like I always am, trying to take him down. Go for the submissions, go for the ground and pound and whatever. Just try to overwhelm him with everything I can. I'm going to try to beat Nick Diaz in a way that people will say, wow.
Nick Diaz is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, but it was his striking ability that made people stand up and notice him when he knocked out ruthless Robbie Lawler at UFC 47. With great submissions and deadly striking, this 21-year-old could be a force in the UFC for years to come.
I think it's a kind of a bad matchup for me in a way, but you know, you just got to work through it, do what you got to do. And I mean, I've been working on a lot of things for this fight, so see what I can do. I'm doing my best.
Coming up next, Karo the Heat Parisyan versus Nick Diaz. Our tale of the tape brought to you by Nature's Purest Nutritional Supplements. High-performance supplements for high-performance individuals. 21 years old, although Parisyan is a few months older than the 6', 168-pound Nick Diaz. As Mario Yamasaki is our referee.
There you go, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Here we
go.
Big matchup of welterweights. Karo Parisyan and Nick Diaz. Parisyan in the gray trunks, Diaz in the black trunks.
Karo does a good job of tying him up. Got a clinch. Now this is Karo's world. Oh,
and a good
Karo's got beautiful takedown. But Nick Diaz is no stranger to the ground. He's got excellent submissions. And a matter of fact, before his fight with Robbie Lawler, everybody thought that's really his primary game. And then he was always saying, I've got great hands, nobody's seen them. I fought Jeremy Jackson, a smart fight. That's why I didn't try to box with him. Referring to his previous UFC opponent, who was a really dangerous striker. He goes, I was smart. I played it smart, but you're gonna see my hands. Look at this. Nick Diaz going for a Kimura, which is Karo's move. He's got it. He's in half guard here. No, Karo's mounted. Wow, he's still got it locked in. He's got his back. If he can roll over, he can take Karo's back. All right, now Karo's got his back. Oh,
wow. Oh, what
and
a
Nick
great
rolls out
chest
of it.
match early.
Wow, very nice.
Parisyan ducks back in to Nick Diaz's guard.
Nick Diaz has an excellent guard.
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Demonstrated there by Nick Diaz.
He comes out of the Caesar Gracie camp, which is a really aggressive school of some excellent grapplers. Most of those guys are, unlike a lot of jiu-jitsu schools, they train primarily without the gi. So a lot of these guys, all David Terrell students, all these guys are all like experts in no-gi grappling. A lot of times you see in the UFC, you'll see a guy who's phenomenal at jiu-jitsu with the gi on, and then he gets into a situation like this, and he really is looking for his handles that he usually holds on to by using the collar and the sleeves, and he doesn't know what to do. You're not going to see that with the Caesar Gracie guys.
Well, you go way back to the infancy of the sport. That's how Royce Gracie choked out Ken Shamrock, was by utilizing the gi. No longer do we see the gi being sported.
Yeah, exactly.
Parisyan and Diaz pushing the pace here in the first 2 minutes of round one. Welterweight matchup scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Down they go again, this time courtesy of Nick Diaz.
Karo's got Nick's right arm tied up here. This could be a dangerous spot. Karo's got very unorthodox submissions, and he pulls them, he's very explosive and pulls them out of nowhere.
Well, Karo said he feels like overall he's fought tougher guys in his career. But there's no doubt that Nick Diaz is one of those tough guys who he's facing right now.
This is where Nick Diaz got to be careful when he ties up with Karo. Nick Diaz hasn't been able to keep the fight steady. Boom!
And another
nice.
takedown. This is a takedown clinic being put on by both fighters.
Like what I was saying before is Nick Diaz got to be very careful when he ties up with Karo. I mean, he's a world-class judo guy. I mean, we saw when he fought Dave Strasser, just incredible throws out of nowhere.
And Karo was very dominant in his unanimous decision win a couple of months ago in the WEC against Shoney Carter when he looked very, very strong. Now he's punishing Nick Diaz in the ground game.
Yeah,
through a couple of forearms.
Karo is an overwhelming guy. What he likes to do is swarm on guys and just beat them down and wear them out. He doesn't mind if he ground and pounds you, if he submits you, if he knocks you out, but he wants to overwhelm you. He's very aggressive and he wants to make you work. You don't see that guy, see? That's what I'm talking about. You don't see that guy wasting any time.
Now, there's no question that Nick Diaz knew that he could make the fight easier if he could keep it on the feet. Doesn't mean it's not winnable if he's not on his feet, but it would be easier if it was, as we can see right here in the first round.
Yeah, I would definitely give Nick Diaz the edge in standing. Unfortunately, he's not been able to keep it standing at all with Karo. Karo is grounding and pounding him right now.
Ezekiel Castillo, one of his teammates in the background. Teammate of Nick Diaz in the Caesar Gracie Academy in California.
Maybe now we know what Nick Diaz was saying when he was saying he thought this was a bad matchup for him. That was an interesting little turn of events. Karo went for that Kimura again. There's Nick Diaz's world. This is where Karo's got to be careful, because Karo likes to reach in.
Oh, just missed with the overhand right.
See, Karo is not a very good technical striker. He's very aggressive, he can hit hard, but he's not the same kind of striker that Nick Diaz is. The more time he spends standing up, the more he's in danger. He's a wild man, he just wings. He's got to be careful of that uppercut when he's coming in.
Diaz has that unorthodox strike pose too. Lands a knee on Parisyan.
This is Nick Diaz's
now a
world.
straight left.
Nick Diaz is a very tall guy too. For 170 pounds, he's 6 feet tall.
Final 10 seconds of the round. Diaz trying to score some points. The looper lands. Wow. And another combination. Toe to toe. What First round of action.
Amazing.
Absolutely spectacular.
Amazing.
Second round.
Are you ready? Let's go!
And here we go. How quickly will Parisyan go for the takedown here, do you suspect?
Well, also there's a matter of, is he tired? I mean, we've already gone through a full hard round of fighting, and does he have the same explosive snap to reach it? And there he goes, he answered my question. Yes, he does. Clearly. Very aggressive takedown. Oh, nice sweep! Beautiful sweep by Nick Diaz.
Now on his back. And Diaz looking stronger.
Oh, now Nick Diaz has Karo's back.
You may be right about the fatigue factor here, Joe.
But look at this, Karo rolls into a Kimura. Unbelievable.
That's
Beautiful.
Karo's
That's
favorite.
Karo's move right there.
Absolutely.
This is bad, but Nick Diaz is no stranger to the Kimura. And Nick Diaz has Karo's back. What an amazing shift in position. And Karo rolls him over again. And lands some nice knees.
For those who understand the idiosyncrasies of what we just saw, that was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's two beautiful, technicians at work right there. That's beautiful technique. I'm sure they're both pretty impressed with each other right now. This is a battle.
Maybe oftentimes we've overused the word chess match, but this truly is a chess match right here.
Clearly, especially on the ground. Standing up, not so much. Standing up, it's sort of like Nerf football.
You might get tackled, but the ball's not going to hurt?
Yeah, right now it's no one's landing anything standing up, and the punches they're landing are these awkward slaps, but it's probably because they're worn out. I mean, this is a pretty heavy battle right here. It's a war of attrition. Nice right hand by Nick Diaz inside.
You do know when those Nerf footballs get wet, though, then they actually do get heavy.
Sure do, especially when you freeze them. I'm from Boston, man.
Yeah, you are. Wicked cold there.
Frozen Nerf footballs hurt, trust me.
Frozen knees right now, and some body shots. Diaz on to Parisyan.
Yeah, Nick Diaz would probably be in his best interest to step away.
He's trying to get notice of Yamasaki, and he's going to step in. Thumb in the eye. Thumb in the eye.
No. I think his glove came off his thumb.
Okay.
I don't know what that was. That does look like he might have had contact.
Now, whatever it was, he jumped in. They fixed it quickly. 2:45, and now the clock will count down again.
That was the second one. That was the second one. He lost them both now.
Karo's doing his best to try to take it down, but this is where he runs into trouble. This is where it can be dangerous because he's reaching. He's reaching, trying to get a hold of Nick Diaz. See this? He's not coming in throwing punches and distract. There he goes. Big, wide, looping shot.
Joe, it seems right here as if there was any trepidation, and we heard it in the voice of Nick Diaz about this opponent early, as now he's in the octagon with them, there isn't as much trepidation. Nick looks much more comfortable.
He looks comfortable, but still when these guys are on the ground, they're just swapping positions. He's not able to control Karo. Karo's not able to control him. Here, he's at an advantage.
Well, he's got the reach, and that's one thing. He can snap that left.
He does not look as sharp with his hands, though, as he did when he fought Robbie Lawler.
No, not at all.
He might have, knowing he was going to fight Karo, he might have taken more time to grapple in this fight. Who knows? Karo's actually calling him in.
Oh, there's a right by Parisyan. Diaz blocked that one. A cut above the nose of Diaz.
I've just been informed that was Parisyan's contact lens that he lost. So when we're seeing him standing in front of Nick Diaz right now, he might actually be seeing him kind of blurry.
He just hopes he can continue to see him.
It's amazing that he can try to fight with contact lenses at all. Oh, nice leg kick by Nick Diaz.
Well, if you gave a slight edge in control to Parisyan in the first, you've got to give a slight edge so far here in the second to Diaz.
Karo is getting bloodied up, and he doesn't have the energy to swarm in and try to take Nick Diaz down like he did before.
And Diaz smells it.
Karo's wide open here.
Yeah. Diaz smells the opening. There's a left and a right in a combination. Parisyan backs away.
Diaz seems like he's really pushing him out. It looks like he's really fatigued. Karo lands a right hand.
Tries to come across again.
I mean, Nick is landing shots, but he doesn't have a lot of steam on him.
And you know what? When Karo ducks down to throw that looping right, Nick is so tall, it hits him in the shoulder. It doesn't hit him in the head, Joe.
Yeah, and Karo's throwing wide arm punches that don't have a lot of power. He's got to go. Oh, right when I said he rocked him. That was a nice shot. He must have heard me.
Final 12 seconds of round number 2.
Ah, there he goes.
And a takedown.
And a nice takedown by Karo. The one thing Karo Parisyan's got is heart. You know, you got to really take this guy out. We saw that with his fight with George St. Pierre. He was bloodied, he was losing the battle standing up, but he never stopped coming forward.
Karo Parisyan and Nick Diaz. There's Parisyan. His opponent in the black trunks, Nick Diaz, 2-0 in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Third and final round.
Now standing up right now, Nick looks like he's got a lot more zip on his punches already. He recovered. Nice knee by Karo.
Nick seems to be very comfortable here.
Nice takedown defense. Karo's doing a good job. Oh, he got tagged there.
Let's say they make it this final 5 minutes. I know we'll see what happens here, but who has the edge, at least up to this point in your mind?
It's very close. I give the second round to Nick Diaz because of the striking. The first round could go either way.
And it's funny, even that flurry late by Parisyan may have gained him a point even in losing the round that could turn out to be big late.
No, absolutely.
Third and final round. Diaz obviously wants to get back to the feet.
Looking for a sweep or something. Look, oh, he's looking for a triangle. Kyle Parisyan's very good defense here. Nick Diaz is working for the bottom. Carl's trying to ground and pound him.
Judo, Jean LaBelle, Caesar Gracie. Wow. Some of the men involved with these two young prodigies, both only 21 years old. And now it's Parisyan turning up the heat, no pun intended.
Absolutely, Nick Diaz stands up. He's got to do something. I was about to say he's got to do something at this point. He's losing this round. And Karo just keeps pushing forward. He just tries to break you. He just keeps pushing forward. Nick Diaz goes for the Kimura again. And this time he's got it in the guard. This is very dangerous. If he can stretch it out, if he can lock him up and stretch it out, this is a very dangerous spot for Karo. He lost it.
Yamasaki stands up the fighters as a mouthpiece was lost. Yeah, mouthpiece. The mouthpiece of Karo Parisyan, and this will actually perhaps work to the disadvantage of Parisyan because he had the control. We may be dead even. Fight may go to who takes it from here, Joe.
It's very possible. It's anybody's fight at this point. Karo Parisyan just wades in, ducks his head, and throws crazy punches. Nice takedown.
Yep.
Nice.
So the mouthpiece coming out doesn't work against Parisyan. In that, I'm saying it could have given Diaz some more time on his feet. Parisyan gets the takedown successfully rather quickly after the stoppage.
Nick Diaz keeps looking for a triangle or an armbar or something. There he goes again, throwing it over. But he doesn't have control over Karo's body. Nice roll.
A little smack on the way up. Now this is when Parisyan likes to come down hard with the right. Diaz on his feet, but not for long.
Good control by Karo Parisyan. Nick Diaz looks like he's going for an omoplata or a gogoplata. Oh, he lost it. Karo just keeps pushing.
You can kick when you're down and the other man's up. You can't kick when you're up and the other man's down, as we saw a moment ago from Diaz.
You can kick to the legs.
Right.
Good takedown defense by Karo.
The legs are okay. The rest is no longer within the rules.
Look for a takedown. Uh-oh. They're separated. Nice punches by Nick Diaz.
Legs and body. When a man is down, no kicks to the head of a down opponent.
Nick Diaz tried to throw a knee and he almost got taken down for it. Doesn't seem to have a whole lot of sting in his punches at this point. It's been a grueling fight for these guys.
Wow.
And a nice takedown, good roll by Nick Diaz.
And we've seen all facets. We've seen them work their hands, their feet, the body, and the ground game. Truly defining mixed martial arts.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to watch if you're not a student of the ground game, you don't really understand what's going on. You say, well, they're kind of like rolling around, what's happening here? It doesn't look like much, but if you understand jiu-jitsu, if you understand grappling, there was a lot of transitions going on there, a lot of thinking, a lot of scrambling and adjusting, and a big battle for control.
Parisyan trying to finish strong and gain himself a decision. 10 seconds remains.
I gotta give this round to Karo. Karo got a bunch of takedowns and he's doing the most damage. It's close, but I would give him that round. This is anybody's fight.
Wow.
This is anybody's fight.
We will render the judge's decision.
An excellent bout.
Bruce Buffer has the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big hand for these UFC welterweight warriors. After 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. Judge Dalby Shirley scores the bout 29-28 Diaz. Judge Cecil Peoples scores the bout 29-28 Parisyan. And Judge Marcos Rosales scores the bout 30-27 for the winner by split decision, Karo, the Heat Parisyan.
Welterweight time once again. The Indiana firefighter with the lightning fast hands, Chris Lights Out Lido, against the Hawaiian making his UFC debut. They call him the Machine Gun. His name is Ron Jun. Ronald Machine Gun Jun hails from Honolulu, Hawaii. A crafty veteran with nearly 40 mixed martial arts fights under his belt, Jun is known as a fearless warrior who will battle anyone, anywhere. Tonight, his career-long goal gets realized as he makes his UFC debut.
Chris Liddell, he's the type of fighter that comes forward, so I think with his style, with mine, it should make a real good fight. Could be a show stealer, you know.
Chris Lights Out Lido is also a well-rounded veteran with 42 mixed martial arts fights on his record. Lido can strike as well as he can grapple, and he looked impressive choking out Tiki at 155 of the second round at UFC 47. Styles make fights, and this one should be action-packed.
We both, fight pretty similarly. I think it should be for a better fight than just for style-wise, the way we both come right after each other. There's not, I don't see there'd be a lot of backing up from either fighter. There's be a high volume of punches thrown and right at each other the whole time.
Coming up, Ron Jun versus Chris Lights Out Lido. Tail of the Tape, brought to you by Nature's Purest Nutritional Supplements, high-performance supplements for high-performance individuals. 33-year-old Ron Jun steps into the octagon for the first time against the 30-year-old Indianapolis, Indiana native, Chris Lights Out Lido. Herb Dean, our referee. Welterweight matchup set here tonight at the MGM Grand Garden Arena.
Are you ready to fight? Let's do it.
Here we go.
They do share a common opponent in Tiki. Tiki won a decision over Ronald Jun, and as you saw in the highlight film, Chris Liddell choked out Tiki. It doesn't necessarily mean that either one of them has an advantage, though. Nice right hand by Chris Liddell.
Liddell, as we've talked about in his previous performances, has also embarked on somewhat of a professional boxing career. And he connects quickly with a right on John.
Ronald John threw a right leg kick and he left his left hand down. Chris Liddell came over the top with a beautiful right hand and John was momentarily stunned.
I guess that was certainly on cue if you're Chris Lights Out Liddell, wasn't it?
Absolutely. You know what, though? John is an experienced fighter. He's been rocked before, and he's showing really good composure here. Look like he's already going for an armbar. Oh, look, he might have it. Beautiful transition there, and a very nice escape by Chris Liddell.
Liddell, boxing and jiu-jitsu, his base. John considers himself a freestyle fighter.
This is
Liddell
another
half
chest
guard
match.
now.
Another chest match on the ground here. Nice guard pass by Chris Liddell. Very nice. Good side control. He's tying up Ronald John's arm. Looks like he's going for a Kimura.
Liddell with side control here early in round one.
Now you can land some nice elbows and punches from here. We saw this position, very similar position, how Carlos Newton got stopped by Matt Hughes. Matt Hughes controlled him the same exact way, locking up one of his arms with his legs and the other arm with his other hand, and it's just got a free shot on his face. Ronald John doing a good job of getting out of that position and actually getting to half guard. Less options here for Chris Liddell.
Early on, Liddell was really seen as more of a submission guy, and then because he's thrown his fists in the last few fights, especially against Robbie Lawler, we've talked about his boxing more, but submission is definitely within his arsenal.
Absolutely, he's got a very solid ground game. Ronald John does as well, though. And it looks like he's having a really hard time passing Ronald John's guard here. He's trying to get, looks like he's trying to get some sort of a guillotine here, but he's not have it deep enough.
And don't lessen the significance of this being Liddell's fourth time in the octagon and this being the debut for Ronald John. There is a bit of nerves that come with the first time you step into the Super Bowl of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw that a little bit from Chris Liddell in his first bout.
Absolutely.
You see, he looks a little more composed now entering the ring, and you know, that's all judgment. You know, whether or not you're right is anybody's guess. But he looks very calm now, very calm and very confident.
Keeping busy on the ground as Herb Dean takes a great look at it.
It's one of the biggest things about becoming a great fighter is the ability to deal with the pressure. There's a lot of guys that are phenomenal in the gym. I mean, they spar in the gym, they look like world beaters, and then under the lights, they just fade. It's just too much pressure. They can't perform up to their potential. The more comfortable you get in the ring, the more confident you get in the ring. Ronald John has got Chris Liddell in his guard now. Chris is throwing punches to stay busy, but not too much damage to speak of at this point.
Scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. The depth of the welterweight division is starting to be quite significant here in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Parisyan and Diaz, St. Pierre and Hughes, John and Liddell.
The reason why John is getting hit with punches is that he's not controlling Chris Liddell's body. When he's got him in the guard, he's not controlling his head, he's not controlling his body. He's not doing anything to stop Chris Liddell from raising up and throwing down punches and elbows. I mean, right now he's not getting hit with anything big, but he could get caught. Looks like referee Herb Dean, good call by referee Herb Dean. He's gonna stand him back up.
So there was not enough action, not enough pace on the ground, so they stand the fighters up. But Liddell's comfortable on his feet, as we've well documented.
They both exchanged some excellent kicks. Ronald John landed a really nice leg kick and a good front kick by Chris Liddell. Oh, nice. Nice shots in there.
Good combinations.
Good takedown. Oh, and a nice sweep. Beautiful.
18 seconds remains in the round.
Again, Chris Liddell's going for the guillotine, but it just doesn't look like he's got it in deep enough.
First round certainly controlled by the Indiana native, Chris Lights Out Liddell, 30 years old. And John will go to his corner and attempt to regroup.
Very interesting first round.
You ready? You ready? Do it.
Nice right hand by Chris Liddell. Chris Liddell seems to be looking for the kicks and looking to counter with his punches. Very crisp boxing by Chris Liddell.
Just
nice
missed with the overhand right.
Nice butt kick.
I'm gonna kick your butt. The knees.
Nice. Chris Liddell looks very solid on his feet here. He looks like he's getting very comfortable.
Jun seems to have a bit more fire here in the early parts of round 2.
Oh.
Right back up to his feet and missing with the right.
Yeah, that was a very good takedown by Chris Liddell. Ronald Jun sprung right back to his feet.
Jun was very introspective in the interviews this week, saying he's always been a fighter in life and he feels like he represents the people who have overcome adversity and troubles. And I guess he had that growing up in Hawaii. So he's got a real fire inside and he's got a real opportunity here
It looks
to try
like he's
to
in
make a
trouble.
name.
Nice guillotine by Chris Liddell. Ronald Jun might be in trouble here.
Liddell trying to lock it in.
Ronald Jun,
there it is, here's the tap.
Beautiful.
It's all over. Guillotine
Very
choke.
nice.
Chris lights out, Liddell wins again. Nice call, partner.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 17 seconds of the second round due to a tap out from a guillotine choke. For the winner, Chris Lights Out Liddell.
Boyhood friends battle in the cage. Powerful and proud Mike Kyle takes on his mentor out of the Milicic camp, the newcomer, Justin Eilers. 6'1", 245-pound Justin Eilers is one of the most exciting up-and-comers in the heavyweight division. A training partner of former UFC heavyweight champion Tim Sylvia, Eilers is known for his non-stop aggression and has finished the majority of his fights with brutal strikes. Tonight, he makes his UFC debut.
You know, on this stage, it doesn't matter who you fight. You know, I'm making my debut, and that's huge for me. It's what I've been working for. So it doesn't matter. You can put my mom in there. I'd fight her. You know, I'm making my debut. I'm making a statement. I'm ready.
At 6'4", 240 pounds, Mike Kyle is an imposing figure. A product of the American Kickboxing Academy, Kyle is known for his raw strength and aggressive striking. Kyle won his UFC debut, knocking out Wes the Project Sims in 4 minutes and 59 seconds of the first round. Kyle is proud that none of his fights have gone the distance and hopes to keep that streak going tonight.
As a fighter, I think he's one of the best fighters in the world. You know, I think he's underestimated just because he hasn't had the opportunities in the shows yet. But I definitely believe that me and him are, you know, top 2 of the top 10 fighters easy in the world. And win or lose this fight, I think they're going to see one of the best heavyweight fights.
Up next, Justin Eilers takes on Mike Kyle. Tale of the tape brought to you by Nature's Purest Nutritional Supplements, high-performance supplements for high-performance individuals. The old buddies now become rivals. Kyle has a 2-inch reach advantage. He is 5 pounds heavier. Big John McCarthy, our referee. Heavyweight matchup tonight. To begin the card here at UFC 49 from the MGM Grand Garden Arena, Eilers and Kyle. The friendship now becomes a battle within the cage. And if you think Eilers isn't used to striking, think about the fact he trains against Tim Sylvia every day at the Milicic camp.
An interesting thing in Eilers' bio, it says that he just started training 2 years ago. He started training 2 years ago after a senior year of football at Ohio State. That's when he started training for fighting. These guys are not fighting like friends, that's for sure.
Lot on
nice
the line.
knees inside by Mike Kyle. What's going on here?
Timeout. I think he caught him in
a
bad
knee in the
area.
groin.
Knee in the groin.
Mike Kyle is throwing some knees to the legs, and one looks like straight to the groin. Big John McCarthy's taking a point away. That's with no warning.
Now what will
Let's take a look at the
mentally?
replay. You know what? I think neither one of these guys think this fight is going to go to decision anyway.
No, that's a good point. What does that do mentally?
Let's take a look at the
Kyle,
replay. We can see the foul here. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Straight in. Oh, 2 in a row.
Wow. As we were showing the replay, Justin Eilers looked across to Mike, kind of winked at him like, no big deal, I know it was unintentional. Catch my breath, we'll go again.
It's got to be a weird thing fighting a good friend.
Wow. And a mentor at that.
Oh, big right hand.
Right from Justin Eilers.
Nice.
Coming in strong and pushing him back.
And nice takedown. Good takedown defense. And knees by Kyle.
Big up.
Oh, it's over.
And it is all over.
Unbelievable.
Justin Eilers knocks out Mike Kyle.
What an impressive UFC debut for that man.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John McCarthy has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute 14 seconds of the very first round. For the winner by knockout, Justin Eilers!
Wow, how the UFC has captured the hearts of so many, and the lights and the marquees of Las Vegas, the blackjack tables, the slot machines, all decorated by UFC flags. Lots of happenings around the UFC universe, and it's time now for our UFC update. The UFC heavyweight champion is committed to defending his belt, but not so fast. First, he will walk the aisle. So love and marriage comes before the octagon for the champion, Frank Mir.
And so I felt that September would be the best time to have a wedding. And so now we're locked in, and everybody says, oh, Andre Arlovski's healthy, you should fight him October 22nd. I'm not going to be able to. Obviously, I have more commitments to my personal life and family that has to come first. But then after that, any show afterwards, I'll be more than happy to defend against Andre Arlovski or whoever else wants to try to take it.
The man Mir defeated Tim Sylvia, whose arm was broken in defeat, is well on his way back after quite an intensive surgical procedure. The Maniac says he will return bigger and badder.
This is the notorious arm breakage. My radius broke just once over here. They put in one titanium plate. You can actually feel it through the skin, which would be a good forearm smash. And my owner over here, it broke twice. So they put in 2 titanium plates, one on each side. And then my open procedure, which is like a in-depth scope job. They opened it up and took out a lot of scar tissue and some nasty bone chips in there, so my arm straightens out a little more so I can hit a little harder, which is great.
So what do you get when you cross the Iceman Chuck Liddell with everybody? Find out for yourself by watching Chuck have a bad day in the new American head charge video, Cowards. The video is sure to bang some heads the UFC's way. The song appears on the brand new UFC soundtrack compilation called Ultimate Beatdowns Volume 1 Metal. Excitement for this all-star metal release has been at a frenzied level as promotion for the CD recently kicked off all around the country. In addition to American Head Charge, the CD features such metal powerhouses as Slayer, Hatebreed, Sepultura, and Fear Factory. Look for Chuck's musical headbanging debut on Headbangers Ball, Fuse TV, or your favorite video outlet for heavy metal music. Our UFC update, exciting happenings for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. For more, joined now by UFC President Dana White. I got my memo on the blue shirt and black suit, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Tell us about the reality show, which is going to debut on Spike TV in a few months. What's the update?
Well, it's actually going to air January 15th. Recently, we just built a 10,000 square foot training facility here in Las Vegas, and that's going to be the set, if you will, for it. We just got done doing all the casting, and Spike TV and our producer Craig Pelagian from Pilgrim Films is very happy. I think they went in with some, they thought that these guys were going to be fighters like everybody else expects. They can't speak, they can't talk. They really realized what MMA fighters are all about, and they're very happy with the casting process. And we've just about got the cast locked up, and it's going to air January 15th on Spike TV.
And I know the way you want to drive this sport, and I won't put you on the spot, but this is not the only TV show you hope to do in the future.
Yeah, we're working on another television show right now that I can't really talk about yet because the deal's not done. I don't like talking about deals when they're not done. But yeah, we will be on television on another network also too.
Congratulations on all the great news, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And nice blue shirt and black suit.
You too.
Dana White lets me keep my job if I wear the same thing as him. Dana White, the UFC president. Look for that show after the first of the year on Spike TV. Middleweights now. Undoubtedly the #1 middleweight fighter in the UFC, Matt Lindland, squares off against Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt newcomer Dave Terrell. Cesar Gracie black belt, Dave the Soul Assassin Terrell is an amazing grappler who is looking to jump into the deep end of the UFC pool immediately. Terrell possesses great submissions, and his stand-up game has improved steadily. He'll need to use every trick he has if he hopes to beat a consummate competitor like Matt Lindland.
Matt Lindland's an excellent opponent. He's a world-class fighter. I think he has a few holes in his game that I could capitalize on. And it's just an honor to be fighting him in the UFC because he's the #1 ranked 185-pounder.
Matt "The Law" Lindland has established himself as the top middleweight in the UFC. A tenacious competitor, Lindland won an Olympic silver medal in Greco-Roman wrestling in 2000. Lindland has taken out top competitors like Ricardo Almeida, Pat Miletich, Falanico Vitali, and Phil Baroni on 2 occasions. Lindland needs to get by Terrell if he is to fulfill his goal of one day becoming UFC World Middleweight Champion.
I want to finish on my feet. I want to knock him down and look down, get ready to get on him and see he's already unconscious. I want to hit him hard.
Coming up next, Dave the Soul Assassin Terrell versus Matt "The Law" Lindland. Tail of the tape for this fight. Brought to you by Nature's Purest Nutritional Supplements, high-performance supplements for high-performance individuals. Matt Lindland, 34 years old. Terrell is only 26. The rest is dead even. Herb Dean, our referee. Middleweight matchup here tonight between newcomer Terrell and veteran Lindland, and we are underway.
The jiu-jitsu world is looking at this as a coming out party for Dave Terrell. They've been talking about this guy fighting in MMA in the big show for a long time, and here's the chance. Couldn't have picked a tougher opponent, though.
Lindland has never fought a southpaw.
He's out!
And there it goes quick. Down he goes, and he is recovered momentarily. And it is all over.
That was brutal.
It is all
unbelievable.
Never fought a southpaw. Now he's been defeated by one.
Lindland got hit with a big left hand. It looked like he recovered enough to grab guard, and David Terrell just never let him out.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee has called a stop to this contest at 25 seconds of the very first round for the winner by knockout, the Soul Assassin, David Terrell.
Joe Rogan is in the octagon.
David Terrell, congratulations. Your first bout in the UFC, a brutal, quick knockout over a veteran. Now, why did you take this fight with a guy with so much experience, and did you know you were going to be able to take him out that quickly?
I'm very confident in my skills, you know. I've waited 10 years to get in this octagon, and you guys seen it.
We've certainly seen it. Let's take a look at it again. If you could talk us through the knockout. Let's take a look at the replay here.
A little sloppy, but you know, got the job done.
And here's the finish right here.
God, who is that guy?
Let's take a second look at it here. Wow. All right, Dave, you're here. What can we look for from you in the future?
Winning that 185 championship belt. Guys, if I got a sec, I just want to thank my team, Cesar Gracie Fight Team, NorCal Fighting Alliance, my coaches, Rosendo, Cesar, Gil, Billy Olson. Thank you guys for getting me ready.
Congratulations on an outstanding performance. Dave Terrell, ladies and gentlemen.
It's time to go to the mat, and with that, it's time for you to let our fans around the world know that don't try these things at home.
Yes, we are going to show you one more episode of the Matt Lehman instructionals, but before we do, we want to let you know that you don't want to be trying this out on your friends and take it from a guy who's had 3 knee surgeries.
And even though Justin Eilers would fight his mom, don't do that either.
Yeah, don't do that either. The guy we have here, Mark Lehman, is a world-renowned grappling instructor. He is a guy who's competed in Abu Dhabi, all over the world, very well known for his grappling, and he's a guy that a lot of the top mixed martial arts fighters go to learn techniques to use in the octagon. This is another part of our series called Inside the Octagon, the submissions that we use.
Submission can happen from a variety of positions. Today we're going to look at a knee bar used to counter a takedown. Let's break this technique down. As Black begins his takedown, White's going to use his inside foot to hook Black's leg and flip it up towards his hands. From here, White is going to pinch his knees very tightly together as he secures the heel. To finish the knee bar, White is going to extend his hips forward and pull the heel in tight, forcing Black to either tap or have his knee snap. So the next time you see the fight hit the floor, don't blink, because it could end just like that.
We're going to take a look now at an example of that actually being used in the octagon. Here is a fight where we see an excellent use of a knee bar from 1999. Yamamoto rolls over, grabs a hold of the leg, secures it, stretches it out, and his opponent is forced to tap or have his leg broken. Again, he rolls him over in a perfect technique knee bar.
Sold out MGM Grand Garden Arena, UFC 49, unfinished business set for the co-main event of the evening. Chuck the Iceman Liddell, the #1 contender in the light heavyweight division, against Vernon Tiger White. The theme in this fight is very simple. Put up or shut up. I don't like you, you don't like me, I want to kick your butt.
Vernon White, perfect. You couldn't have picked a better guy, for me to fight, because I don't like him. He's popped off about me on numerous occasions. He was even saying I was dodging him for a while, and I'm gonna enjoy fighting him.
Other people were saying that he was ducking me. As far as I'm concerned, he can listen to whoever he wants to listen to. I don't need bullshit to fight somebody and to fight good.
I was gonna fight Vernon, and then he started saying, oh, it's not about the money, it's about the belt. And I said, all right, fine then, winner take all. Both times he turned that down.
Me and Chuck were supposed to fight before. His people pulled him. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna give him everything he wants. To a lot of those people who don't know me, when this fight's over, you will. Because I've been a sleeper for a long time, and it's time for everybody to see my skills.
Vernon's a striker. He's another striker. Me and him are gonna probably stand there and punch each other, and one of us is gonna fall down.
I'm not scared of Chuck's hands. I get hit by Ken Shamrock, please. Chuck is a good striker, but honestly, every time he gets on his back, he's like a turtle. If I get the chance to put him on his back, I think he's gonna be done.
He's been fighting for a long time, and he's done real well in some of the smaller shows, and now he's trying to step up to the big show. Having some animosity towards someone or not liking someone or that kind of thing, for me, it helps my motivation for training.
I'm expecting Chuck to come out at 100%. I'm expecting Chuck to be totally on his game, because if he's not, then it'll be a short fight.
This fight's gonna end with me knocking him out. Bang, done.
It would be very safe to assume if Vernon Tiger White was not the opponent of Chuck Liddell, that Chuck could have been a bit distracted since the knockout of Tito Ortiz, because his life has truly changed, Joe.
Well, you got to know that a lot more people know who he is now. When they announced him in the arena, there was a huge round of applause. I mean, he's a huge star now in the mixed martial arts world. It's a dangerous fight for him, but he's the kind of guy that doesn't shy away from risks, and that's why people like him in the first place, because he is a real warrior. He's the kind of guy who'll fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. He'll fight Randy Couture. He'll fight in Pride. He'll fight Tito. He'll fight Wanderlei Silva. He'll fight anybody.
He doesn't ever avoid an opponent, which makes many of us chuckle when Vernon Tiger White says that Chuck might have dodged him before, but he does it again, and I think we should document it at length. Babalu was a dangerous fight. It was off the path potentially to the light heavyweight championship. He does it again tonight.
Yeah, that's just how he lives. I mean, Chuck Liddell, again, he's a true warrior. This Vernon Tiger White situation is very funny because Chuck's a very nice guy, and if you know Chuck, he doesn't hate anybody. Right. I mean, even when he fought Tito, he just said Tito has a big mouth. He didn't hate him. He really doesn't like this guy. He really hates Vernon Tiger White, and this grudge is real. And the tension that we saw yesterday at the weigh-in, I just can't wait to see these two together in the octagon.
Now we expect fireworks, and we have had many already. Co-main event of the evening, the Iceman Chuck Liddell against Vernon Tiger White. East Palo Alto, California, from the Lion's Den, very experienced Vernon Tiger White.
Vernon Tiger White, star pupil of the Lion's Den, very consistent, solid mixed martial arts fighter who's got good skills in all areas. Very good on the ground, very good striker, excellent experience, good composure, and again, he comes to the Lion's Den, so like he said in the pre-fight interview, I mean, he's been hit by Ken Shamrock, and he's not worried about getting hit by Chuck Liddell. I don't know if that's such a good comparison, but we'll find out once two get in the ring. See Ken Shamrock giving him some last-minute advice and a pep talk. Vernon Tiger White, along with Guy Metzger, they're the two most solid pupils that Ken Shamrock ever put out. Vernon's a very solid fighter.
And there was a time, Joe, when the Lion's Den was on the top of the food chain, and then they were dethroned by Miletich, they were dethroned by Team Quest, even Team Punishment. With Ken's success last UFC, if Vernon can do something here, and then Guy Metzger in the next show against Tito, the Lion's Den becomes prominent again.
Absolutely, and Vernon Tiger White believes that he can put the Lion's Den back on the map with a big win tonight over Chuck Liddell. And certainly he'll put Vernon White on the map. I mean, that would be a tremendous upset, but it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Very veteran, very skilled in this fight game since its inception, Vernon Tiger White.
Oh, boy.
Well, Joe, as your good friend Eddie Bravo says, this man's blowing up. This man is blowing up in popularity, and all it took was a couple of fast hands on Tito Ortiz.
Couple of fast hands and Juliette Lewis screaming your name in the audience.
I want Chuck Liddell! I want Chuck Liddell!
Chuck Liddell, very, very, very tough guy to face in the octagon. World-class wrestler, world-class striker, world-class mixed martial arts competitor with a wealth of experience, knockout power in both hands and his feet, and very difficult to take down. If he wants to stand up, it's going to be very hard for Vernon Tiger White to take him down. Chuck is a Division I wrestler, competed in wrestling at a national level and did excellent, and he's a very accomplished kickboxer.
The knock on Chuck in the past was that some fights he did not train as hard for as others, and the best motivation for Chuck was when Dana White and Joe Silva said, how about fighting Vernon Tiger White? He said, absolutely, that's awesome, that's perfect. It's not a motivation he needs for the fight, but there is motivation needed for the many, many hours and long hours of training.
Absolutely. It's not the will to fight that's difficult to find, it's the will to prepare to fight. And when you really truly hate a guy, and you just can't imagine losing to him, it makes it so much easier when that alarm clock goes off and you gotta run.
They are on their feet here at the sold-out MGM Grand Garden Arena. Chuck the Iceman Liddell set to enter the octagon.
Kind of amazing at one point in time, that man was in Tito Ortiz's shadow, and he has so clearly eclipsed him at this point. I mean, that one knockout loss to Tito has kind of shut him out in the fans' eyes. People see him now and they boo. It's truly amazing what a transference has occurred. The Tito that we saw just a few years ago. Chuck Liddell is the star now under Randy Couture at Vitor Belfort.
The victims of the Chuck Liddell run to the top are pretty legendary. From Randleman to Bustamante, Suloev, Belfort, Babalu, and recently Tito Ortiz. He's fought the best. He's defeated most of them. He is the #1 contender for the light heavyweight championship, the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Tail of the tape for this light heavyweight battle, brought to you by Cobb 28. Gear for the extreme, found at cobb28.com. Chuck the Iceman Liddell is 2 years older than Vernon Tiger White. It's all been talked about. It is time to get down to business. Our tail of the tape. For the official introductions, the veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC light heavyweight division. Introducing first, the warrior standing to my left. This man is a submission fighting expert. He holds a mixed martial arts record of 11 wins with 8 losses and 1 draw. Standing 6 feet 1 inch tall, he weighed in at 200 pounds. Fighting out of San Diego, California, please welcome Vernon Tiger White! And now, introducing his opponent standing across the octagon. This UFC warrior is a kickboxer. He holds a professional mixed martial arts record of 13 wins with 3 losses. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighed in at 205 pounds. Fighting out of San Luis Obispo, California, please welcome the Iceman, Chuck Liddell! When the action begins, our referee in charge is Mario Yamasaki.
Okay, I already gave some instructions to you on the locker room. I just want you guys to do a clean fight. Okay, follow my orders at all times. You guys have any question? Good luck.
How much does this crowd love Chuck Liddell?
Wow. Want to be a fan favorite? Knock out Tito Ortiz.
I don't think I heard one clap for Vernon.
The Iceman, Chuck Liddell. The Tiger, Vernon White. The talk is over. Very personal. Both men can strike.
Oh.
Liddell tries that big right. He loves coming over the top.
Oh, and Vernon answers
straight
with
right
of
with
his own.
Vernon. Oh, this is a slugfest early. Chuck trying to tee up. Chuck caught him, and he slips. And now gets the takedown. That was a slip by Liddell, but he was able to gather himself and take down Vernon White.
Vernon's got a butterfly guard. He's got Chuck's right arm tied up. Chuck's loose.
He says, come on up, big boy.
Ooh, nice left hook by Chuck.
Wow, Chuck's confidence just continues to grow. You can see it in the way he's attacking here early. Good kick. Oh,
nice
that right connected
hand
on the top of the head. Now a swinging left.
One thing we do know about Chuck, he has an excellent chin. Excellent ability to take a shot.
Vernon White likes to loop in a little bit too, doesn't he, Joe?
Absolutely. These guys are throwing bombs.
Toe-to-toe we go.
Oh, big right hand.
Good right hand. Down goes White. Liddell with the action, pressing it. And White regains his composure.
That's what you see the
momentarily. Look at Chuck Liddell.
Wow. Vernon White's doing a good job of avoiding the real big blows.
Yeah, he is. Trying to spin out.
He shows his back. Look out for the kick.
Oh,
big right hand. Vernon White is basically out on his feet.
Him. Wow, what a barrage.
Vernon White showing excellent composure. And a big right hand of his own.
There's another right.
Oh.
And down he goes again.
He's Yamasaki
right on top of the action. Wow, what a warrior Vernon White is.
He can't just stand there and let this guy punch him. Yamasaki will stop it. He's got to get up.
Now Chuck could kick him in the body or the legs in that position, but not the head.
Vernon White
just wants him back up on his feet. Wow, what guts by Vernon White.
Wow, amazing recuperative abilities.
These are the toughest men in the world, ladies and gentlemen.
Vernon White showing a lot of heart.
Are you kidding me right now, Joe? Those aren't boxing gloves.
Exactly. Little baby 4-ounce gloves that do nothing but protect the knuckles from being broken. Nice body kick and then left hand.
Wow.
Vernon Tiger White his claws are still out.
It's very early, but I bet
Chuck is taking some deep breaths.
Yeah, a little bit in the mind of Chuck. He feels like this baby should already been over.
Absolutely. He's got to be a little nervous. No, nice leg kick by Vernon White.
And that can get frustrating.
Oh!
Down he goes again. That might have been more of a slip, but Liddell comes right in on the opening and continues to throw with a flurry. White protecting himself again, at least for now.
Mario Yamasaki doing a very good job of letting these guys fight in this bad position. Vernon Tiger White is covering up. He's taking some shots, but he's okay.
So you want to be an Ultimate Fighter. 1 minute 40 seconds remains in round one.
None of these shots are doing any damage. Those elbows look pretty good.
Listen to Chuck Liddell work it.
He's very arm weary though, if you notice by those punches. Nice right hand there. Oh, Vernon Tiger White tries a spinning back kick.
There is no one sitting down here at the sold-out MGM Grand Garden Arena. Not one fan.
Oh, big left hand!
Is on their feet.
He rocked Chuck Liddell with that left hand. Vernon Tiger White has got incredible heart. Chuck turned to look to his corner for advice there. Oh,
keep
right here. That's
time.
it.
Down he goes. Chuck Liddell has knocked down Vernon White.
What a war. What an incredible war.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
What a war.
Like I said, we might as well change the title of this show to Ultimate Knockouts 4. Undeniable, the striking ability of the Iceman Chuck Liddell, who quickly comes in with class to make sure his opponent's okay. Waited, took some punishment, and then it just takes one good punch. Checked his corner, checked the time, bam! Straight right, and that was it. Good night, Vernon White. This is going to be a great angle. Bam! And it was all over. And Yamasaki comes in, jumps in the classic reaction from a victorious Chuck Liddell. Listen to this crowd. Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mario Yamasaki has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 5 seconds of the very first round. With a winner by knockout, Chuck the Iceman Liddell!
Wow, Joe Rogan.
Chuck, it was the outcome that you predicted. Was it the fight that you expected?
Yeah, he was coming out striking, and he came out right-handed, which threw me off a little bit for a second, but I'm used to fighting on both sides, so I knew he switched a little bit, but it was tough.
Did you ever wonder at any point in time what was keeping that guy up?
Yeah, a little bit. I was, damn, this guy's not going to stay down. But I knew I'd catch him sooner or later.
Well,
I hit hard.
Let's take a look at the knockout.
Hold on, wait a second. Sure. Thanks to my sponsor, Cobb 28, Sinister, Tap Out. If you want, I'm partying Maria in Mandalay Bay after this. So show up.
The crowd react to the knockout. Let's take a look at it again, Chuck, and talk us through it.
Well, he's been letting me exchange. I'm looking, when he stood southpaw, I was just looking to land that right when he stepped in. We've been working on that every time he stepped in with his left, just to throw a right hand. So it worked.
All right, Chuck, what is the next step for you? Is it try to secure a rematch with Randy or try to get the winner of Vitor and Randy?
Whoever's got the title. What a hell of a fight, bro. Whoever has the belt. If Vitor wins, I want to fight him first. Randy wins, I'll fight him after Vitor.
Well, we certainly look forward to seeing you again. Chuck Liddell, ladies and gentlemen.
He is certainly approaching the status of #1 fan favorite in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Chuck Liddell, who will get a title shot against the winner of our main event tonight between Randy Couture and Vitor Belfort. Chuck's classic pose after victory was on the poster. Vernon White said, I didn't like the fact that wasn't on the poster with Chuck. Chuck will be on a future poster with that pose again. Let's move on. Middleweight matchup of newcomers, both with great jiu-jitsu skills. Canadian Joe Dirksen against the Diesel, whose hands are lethal. His name is Joe Riggs. Joe Diesel Riggs brings in a reputation as one of the hardest hitters in the middleweight division. A former heavyweight, Riggs is now lean and mean as a middleweight and feels he has not lost any of his punching power. He hopes to add to his knockout tally tonight.
I see this fight unfolding as Joe Dirksen comes to press the fight, comes in to punch a couple times, clinch, and he gets caught with the right hand. Down he goes. Fight's over. Put a pillow down so he goes to sleep for him.
Veteran Canadian fighter Joe Dirksen has competed in over 30 mixed martial arts fights and is on a 10-fight win streak. Although he has won most of his fights by submission, Dirksen is very well-rounded and has won by strikes as well.
The only thing I think I have that he doesn't is that the fighters that I've fought were of a higher caliber than many of the ones he's fought. Other than that, we have really the same number of fights, and on paper everything looks, pretty even. I'm just hoping that my experience is going to, help me through the fight and hopefully get me the win. But either way, I think it's going to be a really entertaining fight, and the crowd's going to they're going to have a ball.
Up next, Joe Diesel Riggs takes on Joe Dirksen. The Canadian is 26. Riggs, as I mentioned earlier, is just 21 years old. Our tale of the tape brought to you by Nature's Purest Nutritional Supplements. Well, Dirksen has evolved out of just a pure Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. He's boxed the last 3 years. He's on a 10-win fight streak, and his opponent, Joe Riggs, knocked out his last 5 fighters. As you see, Steve Mazzicotti is our referee. One streak will end here tonight, either the knockout streak or the win streak. Sizing each other up early.
Nice kick by Dirksen, went a little high.
Dirksen
Riggs just shakes it off.
In the red trunks, Riggs in the black trunks. They touch hands and look to engage.
Dirksen shoots in for a single, nice takedown.
Middleweight.
Good tuck, very nice. Very nice by Dirksen. Good job of getting him to the ground without taking any danger with those fists.
Dirksen in the closed guard of Joe Riggs from Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, interesting choice. Joe Dirksen might have made a mistake there. It looked like he went to slam him, and in the process, he gave Riggs the opportunity to stand back up. But nice takedown again. Joe Dirksen, very impressive. Oh, and reversal by Riggs. This is a bad spot for Dirksen. He's got to control Riggs' upper body. He's got to hold on to his head, hold on to his arms, tie him up, keep him from raining down with those big, heavy punches.
Riggs has had a lot of success in the smaller shows around the nation. 4-time Desert Quest champion amongst other titles.
Dirksen's locking a hold of Riggs' right arm, and he's getting his legs up high. This is the very good position for Dirksen right here. He's clearing the head, and he's going to look to either get an omoplata shoulder lock. Oh, he lost the arm. He lost the arm, now he's just got to keep him away.
Oh, raining down a big right is Joe Riggs.
I don't think that made impact, though. I think that was blocked.
Trying to follow up with the forearms.
This is what I was talking about before. Dirksen's got him on the ground and Riggs is on top of him. He's got to do something to secure Riggs' upper body to keep him from raining down with these big shots.
Riggs
There's got to hold his arm.
Explode upon his opponent.
Dirksen's back on his feet.
Don't forget, UFC DVDs distributed by Studio Works Entertainment now at Blockbuster. Ultimate Knockouts 1 and 2. UFCs 43, 44, 45, and 46. 47 comes out into the month. 48 in October. And look around Christmas time for UFC 49 and Ultimate Knockouts 3. UFC DVDs now available.
Nice takedown by Joe Riggs. He had secured double underhooks. Took Dirksen down. Dirksen looks like he's got a pretty good guard here. But again, he's got to hold him down. There he goes. He's got to keep Riggs from raining down those big shots.
Now you can see that Joe Riggs is an extremely strong man and still looks huge at 185, a man who, as you mentioned, Joe, once fought at 300 pounds.
It's hard to believe looking at his body. He doesn't look like a guy who used to be 300 pounds. He's not all stretched out. Nice. Nice half guard double underhook sweep by Joe Dirksen. Lining up on top. If he can get his head out, he might be able to secure the mount here. He's got his head out. Now he's got to try to pull Riggs away from the fence. Suck him away from the fence. No, Riggs. Good job by Riggs in getting back to his feet. Dirksen's got a hold of a leg, drops to the ground, tries to roll over in a sweep. Now he's on his back, butterfly guard with double underhooks. This is actually a good position for Dirksen. He might be able to sweep from here.
Dirksen feeling very much like Riggs that this is a landmark in his career to have a chance to fight in the UFC.
This position is actually very dangerous for Joe Riggs. He can get swept here. Whenever a guy's got double underhooks, see, there he goes, he reins up. Whenever a guy's got double underhooks, he's basically controlling your body. Nice kick from the ground. I guess that is a rule violation. Joe Riggs is trying to stomp, and I guess you can't stomp the down fighter. You can only kick to the legs.
A kick to a downed opponent in the body and not the head is okay. The stomp is what Mazzagatti warned him about.
So you can kick, but you can't stomp.
Correct.
Interesting.
So Mazzagatti stepped in just a moment, but still impressive here in round one.
Joe Dirksen's doing a really good job of avoiding damage in these exchanges. And a good job of tying Joe Riggs up when he gets him to the ground. But now as the fight goes on, now these guys are getting slippery. Now they're sweating profusely, and it's going to be much harder for Joe Dirksen to secure a submission. It's going to be harder to hold him down.
Well, the Canadian had his hands full in the first round. Riggs looking very impressive to Diesel in his UFC debut. Here we go, round two. Give round one to Joe Riggs.
Oh, that just sounded like right on the cuff.
Again.
That sounded like a balloon popping.
Wow. We saw that earlier in the Eilers fight, too.
Ouch.
The Justin Eilers-Mike Kyle fight.
That's two in a row. I don't think they're intentional, but that's just something that happens when you go for inside leg kicks. Inside leg kicks, meaning a kick that lands to the inside of the thigh. You know, when you're throwing a strike, it's very difficult to gauge distance. When guys move in, when they move back, when you're throwing a punch or a kick as they're doing it, people clash. Let's take a look at it. It's not intentional. I'm sure he just meant to kick the thigh, but here it is. Bang! On the button. Just right in there. And you see Joe Dirksen's reaction. He apologizes immediately. And he's not known as a dirty fighter.
And in this situation, Joe Riggs has as much time as he needs to regain his composure.
The first one that Joe Riggs caught, he just shook it off immediately, and this one he laughed at.
Yeah, he's saying, please don't do that again.
Oh, big right hand.
Good combination.
Excuse me, left hand.
Dirksen again in the red. Riggs in the black trunks. Riggs had good control in round one.
Good job by Dirksen getting double underhooks. And good, by Riggs of getting double underhooks. I'm getting him confused now.
I should have never brought up the one Joe must go, Joe.
Too many Joes on this table.
There's Riggs on top.
Good job by Dirksen covering up.
Bam. Speaking of releases, how about the UFC soundtrack? Ultimate Beatdowns Volume 1 Metal, featuring tracks from metal powerhouses Slayer, Hate, Greed, and Damage Plan, Chuck Liddell also hooks up with some of the metal artists that are now on the UFC soundtrack. Look for it in stores. For all your information on UFC merchandise and the fighters, always check it out at UFC.tv. Mike Glover, Joe Rogan, glad to be with you tonight. Sold out UFC 49, unfinished business, MGM Grand Garden Arena. So exciting, we haven't talked about it. Still ahead for the light heavyweight championship, Randy Couture and Vitor Belfort.
Missing some nice sweep attempts here by Joe Dirksen. He was using inside butterflies to try to move and manipulate Joe Riggs around. But Joe Riggs, to his credit, has avoided all of them. And he's still very dangerous here. When he gets a chance to rise up, you see how he faked him, he looked away and then threw a right hand. He's a little frustrated here. He hasn't been able to do any damage to Joe Dirksen inside his guard. That's a credit to Dirksen. Very good defense. Joe Dirksen's legs are up high. He's trying to control Joe Riggs' body and either secure a submission or at the very least try to avoid this. This is when he's dangerous. Oh, Joe Riggs looking for a triangle. Excuse me, Joe Dirksen looking for a triangle. That's like did it again.
There's a good shot by Riggs up top.
Good elbow inside by Riggs.
They've got to stay busy on the ground or Mazzagatti will stand them up. That defines busy right there.
I hear from Dirksen's corner, they keep saying, looking for the triangle, look for the triangle.
And as you said a moment ago, he tried to apply it once. Riggs, a big, powerful man.
You hear Riggs' corner asking him to please stand up. Riggs got side control. Bad spot for Dirksen. Big shots.
Riggs is
big elbow.
down shots now.
Excellent composure by Joe Dirksen under fire. He took some big shots by Joe Riggs there.
The Diesel with the big forearm.
Another one.
And
big
that cut him. That cut him over. That opened up the right eye of his opponent. And Riggs is trying to finish it. That was a huge shot.
That's a big cut right there. Steve Mazzagatti might have to stop this and have a doctor look at it. There's some nasty blood pouring out of Joe Dirksen's face here.
That was the right elbow, and he continues with it.
out.
It's all over. It's all over. Dirksen has tapped out, and Joe Riggs reigns victorious.
Wow. Very impressive.
Immediately, Dirksen receives medical attention. But it was that forearm that opened him up right in front of our vantage point.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Steve Mazzagatti has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 39 seconds of the second round. For the winner by tap out, Joe Diesel Riggs.
So Joe Riggs finishes off Joe Dirksen and does it in impressive fashion. The Phoenician finds himself on the UFC map. Joe Rogan.
Joe Riggs, congratulations on your big victory. Talk us through it. Tell us how it felt.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't get his knock-up on the feet. I'm usually a stand-up fighter, but he wanted the ground game. He's a tough fighter, so I knocked him out on the ground.
Now, was he frustrating you at all with his guard? It looked like it was taking a long time for you to land some big blows inside.
Yeah, he was. He's a great guard player. Joe's a great fighter. He makes a lot of people look bad, but not me today.
Not you today. Let's take a look at the knockout. Talk us through it.
You know, I got hit with the big elbow, his cut. He was hurt, so, I mean, I faked back for an ankle lock, come with an elbow, cut him up. I carved him up.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Everybody falls.
Right here. Ready? They all fall. They all fall to the Diesel, baby. They all fall. That's like 11 out of my last 12 knockouts. You like it? I love it.
Well, congratulations. I'm sure the crowd loved it too. Joe Riggs, ladies and gentlemen.
And let me thank my sponsors. I got to thank Security Mortgage in Phoenix, Arizona. Thank Preferred Chiropractic. I thank Pro Mouth Guards, the boys from Tap Out, my trainers, Trevor and Todd Lawley, my training partner, Matt Lucas, Steve Steinbeis. Thank you all, baby. Thank you, Phoenix. My dad, Jason, Andy, I love you guys.
Congratulations. Back to you, Goldie.
So as I said, one streak comes to an end, the win streak for Dirksen, but make it an even half dozen, 6 straight knockouts for Joe Riggs as he opens up a nasty cut over the eye of his opponent, Joe Dirksen, who sees his 10-fight winning streak come to an end. Oh, the buzz here at the MGM Grand Garden Arena is almost unanimously that this thus far could be the greatest night of fights from top to bottom in the UFC. And now we save the best for last. It is time for the main event of the evening. And it is for the light heavyweight championship of the world, the champion, Vitor Belfort, the former champion, the natural, Randy Couture. These two men first met in 1997, and Randy Couture contends that it is still in the mind of Vitor Belfort, the beating he put upon the young phenom that night. Now, in many's eyes, they meet for, let's say, the second and a half time.
I don't look at this as the rubber match, as the third fight. I think this is a continuation of what we started in January.
Here we go. Light heavyweight championship is underway.
In the first 20 seconds of that fight, he grazed me with his left glove, slicing my eyelid on the top and bottom.
Randy is wincing
like
big
something
time.
happened in his eye.
The doctor said right away that they had to go and stitch that up immediately, or I could have problems with that eye for the rest of my life.
Oh my God. They have stopped the fight.
I won the fight, I won the belt. I gotta live with that, and people gotta live with that.
That fight could have been ruled a no contest. Basically, the championship was won on a technicality, and therefore I think we have to do it again and settle it properly.
I didn't win like I wanted because I felt like I can do much better than that.
He doesn't feel good about winning that way. He wants to have a real fight, a full fight.
If the punch was 2 inches closer, I would have gotten knocked out.
Nobody's knocked me out. Vitor's not gonna knock me out.
Some people say I poke him in the eye. Some people say I got lucky. I don't need to prove no one. I'm good. I am who I am. People like Vitor Belfort because they know I take care of business.
How about the hand speed of the phenom Vitor Belfort?
It gave him a pretty good beating the first time we fought. And I think that psychological hurdle is still there for him to get over.
A stunning upset.
That fight from 1997 is still in the back of his mind. And it's, again, one of those things that I think he still has to get over.
I trained hard just like Randy did, and I came to do my job right.
I've trained to go out and win this fight, and I hope that Vitor's done the same thing. The question is, can he stay with me for 5 rounds? My feeling is that he can't. And I think in a lot of ways, a lot of people feel like I'm still the champion.
Who's the champion? Who's holding the belt?
If you're holding that belt, you better be willing to defend it.
I will defend the title like a champion.
Because I'm coming to get my championship back.
The main event of the evening, unfinished business about to be completed. Mike Goldberg, Joe Rogan getting set for the main event. Randy, we know he's a great competitor. I think he has a mental advantage over most men he fights.
He's really a freak. I mean, the guy's 41 years old. He out-cardios, out-strengths, out-wrestles guys half his age. He never gets injured in training. I was talking to his one of the guys in his camp about it. Like, the guy is a freak. He's a very unusual human being. He takes really good care of his body, best in nutrition, best in exercise, best in diet, lives a clean lifestyle, and has shown no slowdown at all whatsoever because of age. He's a very intimidating figure.
For Vitor Belfort, we may very well tonight see the best ever Vitor Belfort. For this fight, for the first time in his training career, he went up to Big Bear, California, a la Tito Ortiz in the past. Solitary training amongst friends in the altitude. He says he's in the best shape mentally and physically of his life.
Well, Vitor Belfort is always a dangerous opponent. He's a very explosive, very emotional guy, and when he gets you hurt, he finishes you. He's one of the best finishers in all of mixed martial arts. Whether or not he can knock out Randy Couture, that's the question. And whether or not he can hang in there with Randy Couture, if Randy Couture's still there in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, when the championship heart comes into play. That's what we're gonna find out tonight.
Vitor Belfort, Randy Couture Light Heavyweight Championship is set to go. He is the natural, Captain America, Randy Couture. As he said, and I think it is very true, many believe that he still is the light heavyweight champion. It will be over in his mind in the third or fourth round. He wants to press the action. He wants to try to break down Vitor Belfort mentally.
Well, you know, they fought a second time. Technically, Vitor Belfort won. He got the title, but you can't draw any conclusions as to who was the better fighter that evening. It's still up in the air. We really don't know. What we do know about Randy Couture, he's a consummate professional athlete. He's a world-class wrestler. He's got greatly improved striking, and he's just an incredible bulldog of a man. I mean, he just got an indomitable spirit and a will to compete. And anybody who faces this guy in the octagon is in for a long evening.
Here he comes. He said, let's settle it properly. You want to talk about a Hall of Fame list of victims? Belfort, Smith, Hizzo, Liddell, Ortiz. And now he wants to put Belfort on the list again.
He really is an incredibly inspirational person. I mean, how many guys are looking at this guy and saying, oh, I'm not that old? You know, he's 41 and he's in the peak of his career. I mean, arguably, he's got better performances within the last 2 years than he had his entire career. You're talking about a guy who didn't even start fighting in mixed martial arts until he was 36 years old. And he's really an amazing person.
Four-time World Team member, Pan American Games champion, four-time national champion in Greco-Roman, three-time All-American in college, two-time runner-up for national championship. Now, one of the greatest mixed martial artists in the history of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. They are on their feet for the natural,
and honestly,
Randy Couture.
One of the nicest guys you will ever meet, ever. Doesn't have a bad thing to say about anyone. He's just a polite gentleman, just a really, really great guy.
He defines class, he defines this sport, and he tells us what it really is, and that is the ultimate in competition.
And that's what it is to him. It's all about competing. He says he looks forward to, that's a constant quote that he says, I look forward to competing. I look forward to the competition. He doesn't see it as this aggressive thing where he's got to beat down some guy and kick someone's ass. He looks at that as he's looked at all the other athletic endeavors in his life, whether it's the Eco Challenge or whether it's, you know, national wrestling. He looks at it as a competition.
The natural Randy Couture here to claim what he believes is still his.
Tonight, two fighters will get in the octagon. Good luck to my rival. But even without the luck of the universe, he won't beat my bro Vitor. Lord, bless the Brazilian warrior. Lord, give power to your son. Please give power to your son.
This is creeping me out.
Vitor has given his life to his religion, given his life to God. He is married, he is focused, and I know you will agree with me when I say this. It's undeniable when you look at the pure skill set in which he possesses. No one has a more purely dominant skill set than Vitor Belfort.
Absolutely. I mean, Vitor Belfort is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's competed at Abu Dhabi with the top grapplers in the world. He's got world-class boxing skills. His hands are blisteringly fast. He's the only guy to ever completely dominate Pride middleweight champion Vanderlei Silva with a devastating fast knockout. And he's capable of doing that with anybody. The performance he put on against Marvin Eastman, we exploded on him and opened up the nastiest cut I've ever seen in any combat sport ever. Vitor can do that to anyone. It's all in what Vitor shows up. Is it a Vitor who's sure of himself, who's confident, in shape, prepared, and mentally ready. If that's the case, then his opponent is in for a world of trouble.
Vitor Belfort has lost only 2 times in the octagon, 1 time to Chuck Liddell, the other in October of 1997 to Randy the Natural Couture. At that time, it was considered one of the greatest upsets in UFC history, and Randy, if he believes it or not, he's trying to get it into the head that he still has an edge that lasts 7 years over Vitor Belfort because of that fight.
Well, it was a dominating win. I mean, he just smashed him. He got Vitor up against the cage, just beat him into submission. The referee rescued him, but basically he owned Vitor that night. That's gotta still stay in his head. Unless he takes revenge tonight, that's always going to haunt him. And he's a competitor. He's a guy who wants to win. He's a world-class athlete. He doesn't like to lose. No one does. So that's got to be in his head. And he wants revenge tonight. Despite him walking around with the belt and having the decision from the last fight, he can't think that he avenged that loss.
On a night that has been explosive, could we have our largest fireworks ahead? Tail of the tape for the light heavyweight championship of the world. Brought to you by Nature's Purest Nutritional Supplements, high-performance supplements for high-performance individuals. 41-year-old Randy the Natural Couture against 27-year-old Brazilian Vitor Belfort. It is the main event of the evening, and here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this UFC championship bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, with Chairman John Bailey and Commissioners Dr. Tony Alamo, Skip Avancino, Joe W. Brown, and Dr. Flip Homansky. Our judges at Octagon side are Cecil Peoples, Abe Bilardo, and Marcos Rosales. Our doctor at Octagon side is Dr. James Game. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon is Big John McCarthy. This bout is sponsored by Nature's Purest, nutritional high-performance substance for high-performance individuals. And now, tonight, history will be made as these 2 UFC warriors face off in the Octagon to settle unfinished business between them. Ladies and gentlemen, live from the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, it's time! This fight is 5 rounds for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, the fighter standing to my left. This man is a world-class Greco-Roman wrestler who holds a mixed martial arts record of 12 wins with 6 losses. Standing 6 feet 2 inches tall, he weighed in at 204 pounds. He fights out of Gresham, Oregon. This legendary UFC warrior is the only fighter to win UFC championship titles 4 times in 2 different weight classes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former 2-time UFC heavyweight champion, the former interim UFC light heavyweight champion, and the former UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Randy the Natural Couture. And now, introducing his opponent, the champion standing across the octagon. This UFC warrior is a boxer and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighting expert. He holds a mixed martial arts record of 12 wins with 3 losses. He stands 6 feet tall and weighed in at 205 pounds. Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the current UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, the Phenom, Vitor Belfort!
The beautiful Jamie Presley in attendance here tonight.
You've been given your instructions in the locker room. Okay, have any questions from the challenger? No, sir. Any questions from the champion?
Fight hard, fight clean, fight fair. Best of luck.
Here we go again.
Here we go again, absolutely.
Is it the third time or is it the second and a half time?
I would agree with Randy. It's a continuation of the second time.
Vitor Belfort, the champion.
And again, I would always agree with that.
That's a good point. The challenger, Randy Couture, the best referee in the business, Big John McCarthy.
Championship, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on!
You got that right, Big John. Here we go. Expect fireworks here tonight.
Vitor's letting Randy get off the flow.
Randy's going to want to get control. He's going to want that clinch. That is where Randy's good. Dirty boxing, clinching, keeping Vitor tight so he cannot use his great boxing ability.
This is exactly where we were at the same time in the first bout.
You're absolutely right.
So it really is like a continuation.
Just pick it up where we left off, minus a cut under the eye. And again, we say continuation, but give no disrespect to Vitor. And Vitor can take any doubts out of anybody's mind tonight if he is victorious.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, it's not his fault that Randy got cut. I mean, he threw a punch, he was trying to knock him out. Now, I always like it when people call it a lucky punch. There's no such thing. Someone wants to punch you and does punch you. It's not a lucky punch. But it was an unfortunate punch for the fans and for Randy.
Vitor debuted in the UFC at 19 years old. Fought Randy when he was just 22.
Not much going on so far. Just got a jockeying for position inside against the fence. Randy's looking to get a better placement here.
Well, Randy's idea is to break down Vitor mentally. And that is by controlling him in the way that Randy controlled Tito Ortiz for 5 rounds.
He's got double underhooks.
He's going to look for the takedown.
It's very difficult to stop Randy from taking you down once he gets his position. Okay, he's not enough underhook. He's got overhook on one side. He's got one underhook on the left side.
He may look for that leg sweep that he used against Tito Ortiz so often. And that's what Randy does. He continues to press and press and press. They're going to break it up because there was nothing happening, and they'll use the hands again. Couture in the white trunks, Belfort in the black trunks, and Couture locks up again. Randy also feels that if it gets into the later rounds that even though Vitor's in great conditioning, he thinks his conditioning may be better. Vitor said coming in, Joey's never had a training camp atmosphere like this before, and he really does feel like he's more confident physically and mentally than he's ever been in his life.
Well, Big Bear's an excellent place to train. A lot of the top guys go there for big bouts. It's high altitude, so your body produces more oxygen, more blood, and can process more oxygen. And it's a good place to get away because there's nothing up there. But then again, Randy lives in Oregon. There's nothing up there anyway.
You got that right.
Good punch inside.
Eddie Bravo with us tonight for the main event. He will score the bout along with our judges and our fans at home.
Very uneventful so far. Just Randy pushing Vitor up against the fence. Vitor defending. Good knee inside by Randy. All right, now it looks like Randy might have double underhooks here.
Don't forget the UFC DVDs now at Blockbuster. Ultimate Knockouts 1 and 2, UFC 43, 44, 45, and 46. UFC 47 into the month. 48 in October, 49 and Ultimate Knockouts 3 coming your way in December. UFC DVDs distributed by Studio Works Entertainment.
All this is here is Randy trying to get good arm positioning to secure some sort of a takedown. Trying to get his locker on the body, and Vitor just, he's got him down.
There it is. He waited exactly as you said to get the position to take him down.
Now this is Randy Couture's world.
And he's got the advantage of having him on the fence, Joe.
Absolutely. He loved but Vitor standing up here.
Randy trying to overwhelm Vitor here in this position. Vitor did a nice job.
Randy is so strong. It's so difficult to get up once that guy's got you down. I mean, you saw Tito was just helpless in that fight. And we've never seen Tito like that before. Tito's a brutally strong guy. And Randy just controlled him on the ground. The same thing with Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell has always been able to get up with other guys. When Randy got him down, his takedown defense, he just couldn't stay up.
And this will wear your opponent down.
The Chuck Liddell fight is an excellent example of that, because Chuck is probably the hardest guy in the world to keep on his back. And Randy managed to do that and actually finish the fight there. What is this position?
Final seconds of round one.
I don't know what Vitor's doing here. He's just kind of holding on.
Trying to spin, block the punches. Vitor pressed against the fence, doing a nice job not letting Randy inflict any damage in that position, but Randy clearly wins round one based solely on control.
We're going to take a look at something now that's a little disturbing from the first round with Vitor Belfort once they got in the clinch. Let's take a look at this replay. I mean, look at this replay. Once Randy's got Vitor against the fence, Vitor's left hand, he shoves his fingers into Randy's eye. You see that right there? It wasn't for a long period of time, but he definitely did it, whether or not it was intentional. Now let's take a look at the takedown here. Randy had been struggling for control, finally got him in a good position, takes him to the ground.
Put him on his back, he wants to go. He's tired. Eddie Bravo, how do you score the first round?
I got a 10-9, 10-9, Randy Couture over Vitor Belfort. Not much happening at all in that first round. Randy did control Vitor, did have him against the fence most of the fight, did get the takedown, but really not much happening in that first round. But still, Randy, 10-9.
Eddie, thank you very much. Eddie Bravo with us in the broadcast position. Second round set to begin. This championship fight is scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. Couture comes in and closes the gap quickly again.
Yeah, he just does not let Vitor get his hands free. Well, I see some blood. Someone's bleeding. It looks like Vitor.
It's Vitor above the right eye, and it might have been the shoulder of Randy Couture as he went in to close the distance. He might have caught him with the shoulder there.
That's a lot of blood.
A lot of blood. But you get the adrenaline, you've got your head pumping. It's going to bleed a lot, even though it may not be a bad cut. It's going to bleed a lot, Joe. You know that.
Any cut in the head, the forehead, the eyeball area, anywhere around the eyebrow, that bleeds bad.
But it may have very well been when Randy came in with the shoulder to try to get the clinch position. Maybe that's part of the breaking down of Vitor Belfort.
You know what? It looks like I've been told that it's a headbutt that caused it. And we're going to take a look at that in between rounds.
Looking to sweep that foot like he did with Tito.
Randy again, same position. He's trying to control Vitor's body. Randy's done an excellent job of pretty much nullifying Vitor's striking skills.
I was going to say Vitor has not been able to impose any of his game plan on Randy at this point.
Now again, this is all Randy's game. Like you've seen the last two outings of Randy in the UFC in the 205-pound weight division. He just basically dominates, gets in control, takes him to the ground, imposes his will. This is Randy Couture's game.
This is what he did in '97 to a younger Vitor Belfort.
And he believes that Vitor has not forgot that. And you know what? If he did forget it, he's remembering it right now.
It's going to be fresh on his memory, at least so far. What can Vitor do to turn the tide here, Joe?
You know what? He's got to figure out a way to stop Randy from punching when he's on top. He's got to be able to control Randy's upper body, which he's not doing right now. He's got to really pull the head down, tie up the arms. And Vitor's best option is to get to his feet. He's got to figure out a way to somehow either sweep Randy or get up and get to his feet and get out of there and utilize his best weapons, which are his boxing skills.
What a spectacular night we've had at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. For all the recaps, all the information on the DVDs available, the new release of the CDs in a couple of days, UFC.tv. Find out more on the new UFC soundtrack, Ultimate Beatdowns Volume 1 Metal, which is going to be released in 3 days, August 24th. Metal Powerhouse's Slayer, Hatebreed, Damage Plan, much more UFC soundtrack, Ultimate Beatdowns Volume 1 Metal. All the information is at UFC.tv.
Big punches inside. Vitor is not doing such a good job at defending these. He's taking some heavy shots in there by Randy, this is basically a fight where Randy's just controlling his body. Randy's on his knees, and he's landing some heavy punches, and Vitor doing nothing to defend himself.
Feel the crowd's anticipation of Randy attempting to push the pace a bit, Joe.
Well, I think they also see all the blood, too. I mean, Randy's white shorts now are covered in Vitor's blood. Vitor has taken that one cut It looked like he was opened up by a headbutt, and now it looks nasty. There's blood everywhere. These guys are soaked.
You know, the old adage is one day at some time, as McCarthy is going to have the doctors check the cut over Vitor Belfort's eye. The old adage is one day at one time, you lose the fight to Father Time. It had happened to Muhammad Ali, it happened to Sugar Ray Leonard. It hasn't seemed to happen at all to 41-year-old Randy Couture.
Well, this is a different kind of fighting, and it's a different skill set. We're gonna go to the replay here, and we'll take a look at this headbutt real quick. Bang, that's where the cut started.
Unintentional, I think we should know.
Absolutely, and look at the blood spurt out. You see it immediately. So that's what caused that. Oh, look at this, they're starting them back in the same position. Excellent.
That is outstanding.
That's exactly how it should be done, and now they're back.
So they start the fight back in the same position when they stopped it to check the cut. That is an excellent move by John McCarthy.
Absolutely, and we got that after the Genki Sudo Dwayne Ludwig bout, which when they started them up after a cut, they started them back on their feet, and it was a very clear advantage for Dwayne Ludwig, and he wound up winning the fight by a close decision. This is a much more realistic way to continue the bout, and it's continuing exactly as it was before, with Randy imposing himself on Vitor. Oh! Vitor swings up for an armbar.
Randy avoided it, though, quickly. Vitor went for the submission. Randy avoided it. Randy's never been submitted.
Actually, he has.
Well, in the UFC. The point I was going to make in the UFC, Joe. He's never been submitted in the UFC.
Not in the UFC, but he was submitted by armbar, by Enson Inoue.
Yep, you're right.
He was guillotined by Valentine Overeem.
Right inside the eye over here.
Vitor is bleeding all over the place. Look at that cut. Dr. Cutman's working on it right now in between rounds, as he takes advice in Portuguese from Leo Vieira.
Well, remember that it was a huge cut over the eye of Marvin Eastman, which forced a stoppage, and that was Vitor Belfort who opened that cut over Eastman. The Cutmen here are awesome, though.
Absolutely.
Eddie Bravo, second round, your thoughts?
Another 10-9 round for Randy. He's starting to completely take over. He's imposing his will. He's smothering all of Vitor's offense. And I don't think this fight's gonna last very much longer.
Tito Ortiz. I have no idea what he has in his hands. Vitor, up and ready to go. Couture, undamaged through 10 minutes.
And he still looks fresh.
The shorts of Randy Couture are drenched in Vitor Belfort's blood. Look at that. But we fight on.
Vitor's got his hands down. I don't know what this is all about.
Now this is about taunting. This is about trying to bring Randy in and firing a big left, but he can't do it.
Can't get Randy Couture with one shot. Back to the ground again, same position. Randy is just so dominant. He's such a world-class wrestler.
Right in front of our vantage point, Joe. Gets his head out from underneath the left arm of Vitor Belfort. No choke gonna happen there. Vitor didn't have any control down low.
This is the same position we keep seeing him in. Vitor with his back pressed up against the fence, Randy on his knees, smashing Vitor in the face.
We've seen Randy in many fights in this fashion, getting side control on the fence of someone and then hammering away. And you bring up a good point. He had been submitted in non-UFC fights. Only time he's lost in the UFC was to the bigger men, Rodriguez and Barnett.
Well, it's part of a learning process.
Absolutely.
Everyone, he came from a world-class grappling background, but not a submission background. And you get caught. Vitor, meanwhile, is bleeding really badly. Look right in front of us. I mean, this is just bad. There's a lot of blood. And he's taking some heavy shots. And went for an armbar again.
Went for the armbar again. Vitor twice has gone for the armbar. Randy has twice avoided the attempted submission.
Vitor, to his credit, is still dangerous despite taking a beating.
I literally, as they are in front of our vantage point, Joe, I literally just looked down on my notes and I have blood on my notes from Vitor Belfort.
Yeah, it's getting messy in there.
Wow.
I don't know how much longer Vitor can take this. Randy's basically pinning him down. Vitor's bleeding bad. Look at that now.
You know what? Let's give Vitor some credit. He is showing some tremendous heart.
Absolutely.
And guts right here to continue to try to battle.
And he is still dangerous.
No, there's no question about it.
Throwing up those legs, looking for a submission. And if Randy makes a mistake and gets careless, he could still get caught in something.
And keep in mind the blood is from the cut that was open, in just that cut, but it's just the adrenaline, Joe, that causes it to go so profusely. So it's not in any way excessive right now in terms of the injury, just in terms of the blood itself.
You see, Big John McCarthy say once again, Vitor can't kick up from the ground. He can't kick to the head when he's on his back. The down fighter can't be kicked in the head, and he can't kick in the head. Dan Henderson from Randy Couture's corner just yelled out, elbow!
And there it is. Elbow, forearm. McCarthy telling Vitor to let go of the fence. That one really connected.
Vitor is getting beat down.
Randy Couture dominant here in round 3. This is absolutely vintage Randy the Natural Couture.
And Randy is in Vitor's guard doing all this damage.
The most decorated champion in UFC history.
Vitor's guard is pretty much useless here right now. Randy's just punishing him from inside of it. He's not holding Randy's upper body down. He's not stopping him from raising up and punching. So his guard is not even really defending him here.
So are we well on our way to a rematch of Liddell and Couture for now, instead of an interim light heavyweight title, the true light heavyweight title? I will never say anything is over till it is, but certainly that path seems to be being traveled by Couture now.
It looks like it. I don't know how much longer the doctor can allow this to continue. There's a lot of blood. It looks nasty.
1 minute remains in round 3.
But again, to Vitor's credit, he's hanging in there and he's still fighting, but he's allowing Randy to raise up. See, when Randy raises up, he's got no control over Randy's body.
Randy made an interesting point coming into this fight because of the fluke, if you will, getting cut the last time. He said, you know what, as I look at this fight with Vitor, I'm going to fight with my feet planted. And that is what he didn't want to do. He didn't want to kick, and he wanted to stay on the ground, and he's run out his game plan to perfection right now.
Well, he's always got a great game plan for fights. It's one of the things about him that makes him so successful. He really breaks things down and analyzes other performances, past performances of the guy he's going to fight. Oh, there's blood all over the camera now. And he always develops an excellent game plan with his team over at Team Quest. I mean, when does this guy slow down? 41 years old.
I have no idea.
Just dominant. And again, I was saying before when we showed the replay, the set of skills that you have in mixed martial arts is very different than the set of skills you have in boxing. Boxing is much more dependent on reflexes and youth. You can compete much longer at a later age and be very successful in mixed martial arts. It's not merely reaction time and physical speed and skill. There's so many other things that are involved, and strength. And strength is the last thing to lose. Randy Couture is obviously an incredibly strong man at the age of 41.
And you speak of that, Joe, and I think it illustrates more perfectly why a man who uses his strength and control like Randy Couture can be more successful in later years than perhaps a younger fighter who was more about explosiveness, a Vernon or a Belfort.
Yes, or an Orlovsky, a striker.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Randy Couture is all about imposing his game, which is Greco-Roman wrestling.
Eddie Bravo, round 3.
Another 10-9 round for Randy Couture. This fight doesn't look like it's going to last much longer. I mean, there's blood everywhere. To Vitor's credit, he is trying some arm bars from the guard. He is trying to pull it out, but he really is going to need a miracle from God to pull this one out.
Well, he believes in miracles. Randy's shorts even more drenched with his opponent's blood. Here as we get set for round number 4. That shot right there defines Warrior.
Absolutely.
It's all over!
That's it.
Randy Couture is once again the light heavyweight champion of the world!
Unbelievable.
America has done it again. What a great show of heart, courage, and guts from Vitor Belfort. Wow. A collective sigh of relief for Randy Couture and his camp. And back to the drawing board for Vitor Belfort. For the official decision, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, based on the doctor's advice, referee John McCarthy has called a stop to this contest, declaring the winner, and now, again, the UFC Light Heavyweight Champion of the World, Randy the Natural Couture.
They have so much respect and regard for each other. And tonight, Randy the Natural Couture regains the belt that was once before his. Joe Rogan.
Randy Couture, Father Time and you get along very well. 41 years old, still incredibly dominant. You got your belt back now. How does it feel?
It feels awesome. I couldn't have done it without Robert Follis, our Team Quest guys, all my sponsors, HCK, Rich's Tire Barn, all the guys at Wild Outdoor Adventures. When are we going hunting, Joe?
We're going soon, man. Now, at 41 years old, you look better than you've ever looked before. How are you doing this?
Thankfully, we get smarter as we get older. I don't do a lot of things I used to do when I was younger. My training is getting very refined. My diet with Life Force and all the greens is working great. I feel better than I've felt my whole life.
Now, do you feel vindicated now that this fight, it was a continuation you felt of the second fight? You didn't feel the second fight was a real, legitimate win?
Win or lose, Vitor Belfort's a champion. He stepped in here and put it on the line again. And my hat's off to him for that. I appreciate him for doing that. This is the way a fight should be. You know, 2 fighters get in here and we settle it, not in a 20-second thing like happened before.
Absolutely. Now, what's the future hold for you now? You're 41 years old. You've already been the first guy to win the UFC heavyweight title and then the light heavyweight title. You've accomplished so many goals. You've overcome so many obstacles. What motivates you and what are you going to do next?
Well, I know Wanderlei Silva's here in the house. Why don't we bring him up here in this octagon, and I'll be the first guy to unify the titles right here. This is my house.
There he is right there, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about Pride light heavyweight champion, Wanderlei Silva. Wanderlei Silva wants to come to the octagon. He's making his way to the octagon right now.
Wanderlei Silva, the most dangerous man in the Pride fighting championships. He's their middleweight champion.
The Pride middleweight champion, Wanderlei the Axe Murderer Silva.
Hey, with a little luck, maybe we can get this together and we can step in this octagon and unify these titles. What do you say, Wanderlei?
I'll translate for you. Yeah.
You translate? Wanderlei, what do you think about meeting Randy Couture and possibly unifying the 205-pound division?
O que você acha de enfrentar o Randy Couture para unificar o título?
Para mim é uma grande honra. Quero dizer que eu estou pronto para lutar com você a hora que você quiser.
It's a great honor, and he's ready to fight him whenever he wants to.
Well, I'm sure the fans would like to see that, and hopefully we can get these two organizations together and find out who truly is the best at 205 pounds tonight. But we do know that the UFC new light heavyweight champion is none other than the natural Randy Couture, and we look forward to seeing you again in the octagon. Congratulations.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Randy Couture, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, would that be something if we could unify the world of mixed martial arts? The UFC and Pride, the two most dominant organizations in this sport, and that would be incredible. Also, it should be duly noted that Chuck is up for another turn here in the UFC, and he is going to want Randy as well. Oh, Joe, what a night it was. Our tap out of the night brought to you by Tap Out at inyourface.com. Chris Liddell, Ron Jung.
See, Chris Liddell secures the guillotine, gets the choke in, pulls guard, flips Ronald John over, and finishes him with a beautiful guillotine choke for the tap out of the night. Locks it in here. John holds on as long as he can, and finally is forced to tap out or blackout.
Our tap out of the night brought to you by inyourface.com, our friends at Tap Out. Final thought, Joe, on a wonderful evening. Final thought has to be about Randy Couture.
What can you say about Randy Couture that hasn't already been said? An incredibly inspirational individual, a true warrior, a true champion, and it's an honor to even have met that guy.
It's nice to see you again, my friend.
Nice to see you too.
For all the information on tonight, all the information on our forthcoming fights, the DVDs, the CDs, it's UFC.tv. They will start the arguments now that this was the most dynamic and electric night from top to bottom in UFC history. Our executive producers, Frank Fertitta III, Lorenzo Fertitta, and Dana White. Coordinating producer, Stephen Tornabene. Our producer, Bruce Connell. Our director tonight, Jay Mullen. Al Connell saw some great fights again. And Joe Silva, our wonderful matchmaker. The sights were abundant, the thrills were even better. Matt Lindland, victimized early by David Terrell. Parisyan victorious by decision. How about Chris Lights Out Liddell? Showing and proving that he is a true champion perhaps to be. The grudge match between Chuck and Vernon. And Chuck Liddell seems to be getting more dangerous and more dangerous with every moment. The #1 light heavyweight contender now awaits his shot at the light heavyweight title against Vitor Belfort or Randy Couture. Well, there is no longer any doubt in our minds who it will be. It will be Randy the Natural Couture, dominating in every way and winning once again the light heavyweight championship. What a great night! We'll see you in Atlantic City, everybody. So long. Saturday night in Las Vegas, the lights of the world-famous MGM Grand, the magic of mixed martial arts. Tonight, the UFC plays the Grand Garden Arena, and inside this world-famous venue, the Ultimate Fighting Championship is prominently displayed. Welcome inside the sold-out MGM Grand Garden Arena here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Wow, the crowd is already on its feet in anticipation of another historic night of action inside the world-famous Octagon. Time for the lightweights. We feature the top 2 in the UFC. They claim the top 2 in the world. Yves Edwards against the Punk. Josh.
About 207.
207?
Step off. But I think in the time, just don't eat and don't drink. No?
Still good, yeah. We got like, we got like 4 hours. I don't think so.
What time I gotta be down here?
3 o'clock.
I like this venue. You know, it's close enough to home. A lot of people can come see me, and makes it easy on them. And yeah, it's fun. I'm excited about this. I'd love to fight every time I get in the ring. It's a challenge for me every time I get out there, and it should be good.
You know, when you step in the ring, you get a credit. When you step in the ring, you already have a credit. So it's a matter of going and do your thing.
Vitor is one of the fighters, just with amazing potential. And sometimes he's shown that, and sometimes he's looked a little lackluster. You never know which guy's going to come out to the ring. If he comes out prepared, it's going to be a serious war.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, you got great pulse.
Yeah. You're in trouble, mister.
He's in good shape.
Yeah.
I have nothing to prove. I've been all over in the sport. I'm 41 years old. I don't think anybody has a lot of expectations of me. They're just happy to see me out there competing again, and that's the way I feel about it. I love to compete. I'm loving the training and everything that goes with it. I'm just going to go out and have a good time.
Eating on the scale, that's a first. Eating on the scale. That's when you're confident. He weighs 72 and a half.
170,
71. Okay,
1.5 pounds over. Ronald John has 2 hours to lose 1.25 pounds to make the limit.
About 230.
Yeah, I've been fighting now for 2 years with Team Milicic, 8-2-1 record. You know, I'm definitely confident. My time's here, so I'm ready to go.
237 pounds!
He has just as much ring experience as me. Actually, he's the one who got me into the game, so we're gonna get up there and fight each other's heart out, and then see what happens after.
Justin Eilers and Mike Kyle, ladies and gentlemen. 185 on the nose.
I found out about this fight about 3 months ago. Been training harder than I've ever trained before.
And his opponent, Matt the Law Liddell.
Probably the most time I've had to prepare for any fight. You know, it's just been real slow getting into it. You know, doing a lot of high volume, and then the last 2-3 weeks just been picking up the intensity.
I think Chuck probably thinks that I'm not as good as I really am, and he's going to be surprised when he gets into the ring with me and he finds out that I hit a lot harder and punt and kick a lot harder than he thinks that I do.
Yeah, he's just got a big mouth and he likes to run it, so you know, I'm here to shut it.
Unfinished business, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, just look at this. Hi, little man. Nice to meet you.
UFC heavyweight champ, baby.
Make it at 7. 170.
Thank you.
Right.
I needed to make the weight, man.
No, you
made the weight allowance, man.
No, you did exactly what you're supposed to do, and I appreciate it.
There's nobody can say, you know, what I mean?
Right.
I gave up some weight, man. I made that. It was in my contract, 170 and under. So. To be honest, man, I was kind of lean down already. So I mean, to lose the weight, I was actually praying for a miracle. I just couldn't see how I was gonna lose 2 pounds, 1.5 pounds, and with the grace of God, I did.
Didn't do nothing different, train hard. The only thing I did, I kept my weightlifting in. I felt like I lost a lot of strength last time. I completely cut out my weightlifting for like 2 months. I think my hand speed's a little bit quicker. Hopefully I kept my strength. Plan on just fighting my fight and plan on taking it to him as hard as I can. Leave nothing out there. He's a big, strong guy. He's real athletic. I know he's going to come at me and he's going to give it everything he's got. He's going to fight hard. But, you know, other than that, you know, I think I'll be all right. I definitely like to fight to stay on the feet. You know, I've worked a lot on my stand-up. I want to stand, continue to work on that through this fight, and you know, hopefully inflict some damage on him. So if it does go to the ground, it just makes it that much easier.
Set it up properly. Spang! You'll be going home early, okay? Be soft too. Big brother, this kid. You've been doing it your whole life.
Show him. Let everyone else know, dude. We don't like makes us all smell bad. Let him know every shot he takes. I don't care if he's here. Rip it. I want him to be here. Rip that. Boom, he's going. Bam!
He's up here. You're kind of doing this thing. You can't quite get around.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be. He's
Justin's gonna knock Kyle's ass out. He's an awesome athlete, and Kyle doesn't have much of a chin. Justin does. I hit it all the time. I've only heard him a couple times in 3 years. So,
Kyle, he seems like a good athlete. I think he lacks a lot of techniques. This guy Justin Oss has any ground skills. I think it would be definitely in his favor. Kyle really didn't impress me on the ground at all.
Justin, bring it up a notch, okay? Bring up another notch in this fight. Set up the killing, baby. Set up the killing strikes. That's it.
Can we do this? That's right, boy. Come on.
I've had a good time since I've been here. You know, it's my first one. It's kind of long and drawn out. You know, I'm not used to getting ready to fight for the whole week. You know, that's kind of different. But I feel good. I feel confident. I'm glad to be here.
I love to be here fighting, representing Team AKA. I love to be here in Vegas fighting in the UFC, and hope the UFC always has me back. Happy to represent them.
Yeah.
I'm about to get geared. They might have to cut this off. They have to cut it off. Oh, man. Yeah, it's broken.
Hey, we got some scissors. We got to cut it off, man. I ain't even trying. Justin, have a seat, man. Sit down, relax.
You guys ready to fight?
I've been trying to fight you guys sitting down.
God damn it.
It's gonna be my first
ring.
Yeah. Yeah, right here. I broke it there like twice, 3 times.
What about your knee? How's that feel?
My knee's messed up too. Maybe get that
your
checked
knee
out. He need me in the nuts and he need me in my knee right here and something popped.
He wins in a minute, but he's all bagged up.
They ain't no patent. They ain't no patent, man.
You know how it is.
I wasn't sure exactly how Mike was going to come out, whether he was going to come out and just try to take me right down or whether he was going to try to stand with me. It played out to my benefit because I wanted to stand, you know, because I know his chin's been tested before and I know I hit harder than some of the guys that have tested him on his chin before. So, you know, it played into my hands. Unfortunately, I got hit with a low blow. I had to take a few minutes off. But, you know, I knew when Mike punched and when he backed out with his hands down and his chin up. And I exploited that with the hook. But the right hand, what set it up, caught him with that straight right, dazed him. He started going back, you know, and I jumped on him. I saw he was hurt, so I jumped on him. And he tried to clinch back up, throw a couple quick knees, but I just pushed him, got some distance, you know, and saw him going back with his hands down and just let that left hook go. And fortunately, they landed perfectly for me.
I just got caught with something I didn't see. But, you know, he threw his best punch, that overhand right. I seen it coming, took it, no problem. We're heavyweights, man. Little bitty gloves. You know, it takes light punch in the right spot and it's easy to go down. That's the way it goes, and I hope the UFC fans and the UFC will have me back.
Yeah, I mean, I felt fine. You know, of course, I've been nervous all the way up to the fight. But man, as soon as I started coming out and I got in there, you know, all the nerves went away and it was just all business time. You know, and that's when instinct just takes over and the training takes over. And you know, I'm glad to be here. I can't wait to come back.
I'm training with Team Quest. I trained with the Olympic team before they went to Athens. I trained with the Pit down in San Luis Obispo. I trained with all the best guys, the best wrestlers in the world, the best kickboxers in the world, and the best MMA team in the world.
Definitely my ground game. I feel like is my strengths. I feel like I'm well-rounded in every other area, so it just kind of depends on what he throws at me.
Dave's an outstanding grappler. He's got good stand-up, so prepare for a good fight against Matt today.
He's a submission fighter. That's the only thing that I've got to be careful of.
He can end it standing. He can end it on the ground. Matt Lindland's a good fighter, but I know Dave can end it either way.
Matt's biggest trait is his unorthodox. You know, he's a good wrestler. Not a great grappler, not a great striker, but he just puts it all together well in the octagon.
You know what? Matt Lindland knows how to compete. You know what I mean? He's a competitor. But then Dave Terrell is a really dangerous jiu-jitsu guy with really good stand-up. So, you know, he probably on paper is the better fighter, but Matt Lindland just seems to always show up and fight well.
Turn that hip roll. Turn it in. Turn my hip.
I'm getting better at all the positions. I think when I came in, you know, in this sport in 2000, I was a wrestler because that's all I did. I stepped off the mat in Sydney, and 2 months later I was in the octagon fighting. And from that moment on, all I've been trying to do is learn this sport.
Good. Okay, barefoot. Same thing. Tight waist. Tight waist. Okay. Head and arm. Tight. There you go.
For Chuck, it's stamina. It's hard because Chuck's I would say he's a one-dimensional fighter, but I've been working on a lot of different things for Chuck.
Snap him to the ground. Snap him all the way to the ground. All the way, all the way, all the way.
Not moving your head. As long as we're moving, we're fine. The minute we stop, we get on the fence, or if we stop and try and trade punches with him, we're in trouble.
Right now, we don't have a per se lion's den. I've been training with my boxing coach. His name is Battaglia Balamundo. I've been training with Eric Paulson, Jay Martinez, and a couple other guys.
You just don't stand in front of somebody and trade punches. So they've been working his angles with him and trying to make him move his head and punch him and hit him when he don't see the punches coming.
Business as usual. Stand up, takedown defense, takedowns.
I train. I do everything. I work with running, some swimming, lifting, do boxing, kickboxing. Training with all the same guys. You know, John Ackerman, John Lewis.
Chuck takes every opponent seriously, as you can see, and I think he took Vernon very seriously. So I don't think it's going to last too long.
I'll stand up and box with him. I have a lot better head movement than Tito does, and I think Tito didn't do too bad in his fight against Chuck until he took the eye gouge. So I think I'll do a lot better against Chuck.
Not stop. You hit him and you move.
He's a good striker. He's a guy, guy that's might actually come out and strike with me. So that'd be make an exciting fight for the fans.
Vernon White is a worthy opponent. He deserves to be there. But Chuck is on a roll right now, and he'll do all right.
Vernon White's a tough guy, you know. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I think Chuck Liddell has a little more experience at this level. And Chuck's just one of the top guys in that weight class. I mean, the only times I've ever seen him lose is to other top guys.
Remember, Vernon, before you get in the ring, look for me. I'm last minute instructions, okay?
You're not in a slugfest, remember that. Okay? You're not standing toe-to-toe. We're doing opposite. He kicks you, you punch. When he punches, you kick. Everything that you're doing right now is 10 times faster. Your punches are faster, your kick, everything is 10 times. Your win right now is excellent. You're going to do the best. You're in total shape for this. You're ready for this.
Took a beating better than I thought he would. He's a tough guy. He took a lot of punishment, kept coming. I heard him a couple times, and then, he's taking a good beating, so I was trying to time that right hand. So I knew if I had to catch him clean, not to knock him out, I wasn't going to catch him. Got him to step in and commit. So I started to throw his jab and step in with that right hand. Boom. I'll take that down, control it down there a little bit. Try to put them away a little bit, but like I've always said, the best place for me to end a fight is on our feet.
The last 7 months have been very good, yeah. I healed up great. Stitches came out in about 9 days, and I was back training in about 2.5 weeks. So I wanted to fight on the April card and then the June card, and then those wouldn't happen for a lot of reasons. Vitor didn't want to fight then and said he'd do it at the end of the summer, and so here we are in August.
I train in the Big Bear in different camps. I got new people in my camp, so I'm very happy and very focused.
If I had your ability, I'd be a bad man. You are a bad man. Okay?
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for letting us know.
Kind of came to us for the wrestling end of it, but you know, in the first 3 weeks he was going through what anybody goes through now. He's very high level, very, very good wrestler.
You know, 25 seconds, neither one of us got to see a whole lot. So I think that, you know, what I thought was going to work in that fight, I still believe will work in this fight. I got to go out and hunt him down and get in his face and make him work.
I've trained with Randy. He's just a warrior, and he wants it bad. And the way it happened last time, it was wrong. You know, on a technicality, Vitor got the belt. He's been called the light heavyweight champ. That bothers me. He didn't want to fight Randy, and now he's been forced to, and he's gonna get punished for that, I think.
Just a matter of focus, be ready, do my thing, respect my opponent.
He's prepared for every direction, you know, the ground, on his feet. I can't really see him getting in any trouble, you know what I mean? He's prepared for Randy.
Expect him to be a great fight.
I don't think the luster of this town ever wears off. You know, we're back at the MGM, they've remodeled the place. This is a great arena, and there's great energy. The crowd is massive here, so it's going to be a good night.
1 minute, 1 minute.
The man.
Everything else was good?
Yeah.
No headache at all?
Not at all.
The vision's good?
Yeah.
Just gotta get your
The key question.
The key
That's right, it is.
We're all set.
His hands in his waist.
That's what he was waiting for that.
I don't know if it can feel better. I mean, it always feels great, obviously, to win, to train really hard for something, and then to go out and execute what you wanted in the fight. So I'm not sure that it can feel better, but it certainly feels good. It went exactly how we wanted it to go. I knew I had to be sharp on my feet and move and stay outside of his lead leg and close the distance as quickly as I could. And he caught me a couple times coming in, but glancing blows, nothing solid, didn't hurt me. And once I got my hands on him, I was confident I could take him to the ground. And I've been working real hard on, once I get guys down, keeping them there. And keeping the elevation of my chest and head above their elevation, and it makes it real hard to get up. He was really close on both of those armbar attempts, and I was fortunately sweaty enough that I slipped out of both of them, but they were real good attempts both times. For me, going to concentrate on this reality TV show here, the filming starting up in a month or so, and looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a great vehicle to kind of break down some of the misunderstandings and misconceptions that people have about our sport and showcase these athletes.
America has done it again!